Internets, the Talkitecture podcast will be at the A3C Festival in October. A3C, all three coasts. Music, entertainment, lifestyle, digital festival, Atlanta. We're going to be in your city. Internets. Oh, man, Talkitecture Season 2. Again, we are doing it in the spaceship. And y'all are with us tonight.
Yes.
A King, as always, super producer on the boards. A King, what's going on, brother?
I'm chilling, man. What's good?
Man, listen, A King, I'm happy that it's been several nights in a row now. You don't have a hat on. You got your Blaxican hair.
Oh, you know what?
In full exposure.
Listen. It's crazy. I found a product.
Oh.
So my biggest thing was if I grow my hair, I'm gonna have to do something to it, obviously, right? Which I plan on doing. I won't tell, but. In the meantime, you would think that I'll be able to just twist my shit and it stay. It doesn't stay. But I found something that helps it stay. It's called, it's made by Shea Moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still,
Shea Wax?
Does the community fuck with Shea Moisture? Or is that, okay,
of course.
Well, I thought it was something where we was like, nah, we not messing with Shea Moisture.
No. First of all,
next week.
First of all, let me tell you something.
Got it.
There was this hair care spot.
Yeah.
I don't even know where the location was, but it was run by some Asian dude, and he smacked the shit out this black lady because her son was shoplifting.
Yes, and that was in Louisiana.
It was in Louisiana. Okay, boom.
Yeah, I think it was Louisiana.
Boom. People was ready to protest the spot. He was like, yo, half price on all Shea Moisture products of Yaki. And now niggas lined up to come to the spot now.
Well, the crazy thing is, a lot of dudes.
Everyone that was online to protest is now online to shop.
Well, no, the male brotherhood was out there protesting on behalf of the black woman. And once the Chinese owner was like, yo, I know what I'm gonna do.
Once that nigga went half on bundles,
half on the eye extensions, half on everything.
That man's a genius.
Them brothers could
All
not
those
stop
women,
the flood of women.
They started arguing with the protesters.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, fuck that nigga shit. Get that out of here.
That man's a genius.
Yo, but if
you don't discipline your kid, I'm all for disciplining them for you.
What does that say that he understood that type of the demographic that
well, black people are crabs in a barrel.
Hold on for a second. Half price on bundles. Where you gonna get that? When you gonna get that kind of deal? Huh? That's like a super clearance code. All right, on bundles. Think about bundles in Louisiana too. Okay? Think about what bundles cost out of state. Like New York chicks, East Coast chicks, even I would say like, San Fran chicks, all the light skinned girls with curly hair, doing a natural hair thing, whatever. Don't get it twisted. Outside of New York, bundles is life. It's straight life. You hit the strip club circuit in Alabama, bundles is life.
So you could tip with bundles?
You could tip with bundles.
So
bundle coin. Cryptocurrency.
Throwing money.
This was set it off.
Yaki coin.
This was the controversy, though.
Well, the product you see in the corner top, that's what I bought, and it's Shea Moisture Coconut and Hibiscus Curl Enhancing Smoothie.
It's a smoothie,
right?
You put a smoothie
for
in
thick
your hair?
and curly hair. So I just take that. I don't gotta wash it out. Because it's natural, right? So you just throw that shit in there and you just twist your shit up.
I feel like you're looking at me.
Why would I look at you?
I don't know why you're twisting your hair. I don't like it.
I'm not looking for you to like it, sir.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of like, hey, nigga, I got hair, nigga.
I think Haitian Miguel, to be honest, I think all follically challenged folks do feel a kind of way when niggas with hair talk about having problems maintaining their hair.
Staring dead
like
and then he put his product on his
this the shit I gotta do with my hair. This is shit I gotta do with my hair.
I appreciated the product placement.
Yes,
all right,
I did. Thank you.
But King,
Brother Brish told me I should just say fuck it and cut my hair off.
Nah, hell no.
Join the ball side.
No, don't do that.
Right, Brish? He's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, let that shit flow.
Nah, King. Hold on to the black skin hair as long as you got it, bro.
Yeah,
hold on to the black skin hair as long as you got it.
Chris.
As long as you got it. As long as you got it.
Pervert.
Miguel is an advocate for the curls.
Hey, Haitian Miguel. Haitian
What's
Miguel.
good, brother?
What's happening, brother?
Ain't shit, bro.
Oh man, good
Trying
to see you.
Trying to put the pieces together.
Good to see you in the spaceship, man. I don't think you trying. I think you putting pieces together
quietly.
Facts.
As you should.
See you
as
out
you
here.
should.
Making moves.
As you should. I mean, welcome back to the spaceship. Good to see you, brother.
Good to be seen, Dallas.
Yes, indeed. Girl Joy.
Yes, sir.
Girl Joy. Doing Sexy Librarian again. All right.
Yeah.
All right, we like it. Eye frames. Did you get the eyebrows? Did you get your eyebrows done for Labor Day weekend? That passed?
Yeah, I went away for Labor Day weekend. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We saw a pic. I feel like there was a pic on social media that showed you in like a tropical type climate.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I was in Miami. I went to Miami.
By yourself?
My friend.
I like how Joy goes to Miami.
Friend for life.
Joy goes to Palm Springs. Joy be going to hot spots.
Who's taking those pictures?
Hold on a second. Hazel Miguel, Joy be going to hot spots. Joy don't be getting no tan, though.
This is a 10. That's so disrespectful. This is a 10.
You be going to hot spots? Like, did you go into the sun?
Yeah, I got a 10 on my watch.
All right,
Damn,
good. So,
who's flying you out?
Redbone Joy went got a tan.
Yeah,
All right.
Was it a planned trip or was it a...
Who's this friend? I just want to know the friend that's taking...
Right, was it a planned trip or was it something that...
Nah, it was spur of the moment. Spur of the moment.
That kind of...
That's just kind of get up and go. That's a good credit trip right there. That's a good. That's one charger to the game right there. You can just
they wasn't
put
caring,
on the Amex.
They wasn't caring how much the flights were on last.
No,
minute.
you're not. I mean, Joy might have some online tricks. She might know,
She got miles saved
website.
up.
Yeah.
When she posted that picture,
I'm a frequent. I got like the JetBlue rewards.
Oh, you had a buddy pass to?
No, not the buddy pass. The JetBlue rewards.
Okay.
You gotta cash them in sometimes.
When she posted that picture,
that nigga's hand was shaking.
She posted an interesting caption.
Do
y'all remember what the caption was?
I don't remember the caption, but I'll tell you what was most interesting about the picture. The visual picture was that inside the picture.
Oh, this is what we did, buddy.
Inside the picture, internet. If you go to Instagram. .com slash Joy the Great, Joy the Great.
But she's private.
She's
private. Oh well, damn.
Private.
If you haven't been accepted into the club, let me describe. Let me paint the picture for you. Internet.
That was recent.
Let me paint the picture
It's
for you.
always been private.
The dramatic aspect of the picture. The dramatic aspect of the picture was that there was a thigh tattoo that was partially showing. That was partially showing. And, okay. Our guest just enlarged the picture.
So every time I miss Miguel, I hate him all over again.
Was a thigh tattoo.
I've been there.
Thigh tat? He just looked at it like, right? You don't expect
You couldn't
that,
expect
right?
it.
Right.
Now, Joy, she
Peel back the layer.
Exactly. She's an athlete. Basketball. Okay. We don't really see her like this. So so it's like, you just on your regular Instagram feed and you this pops up. You're like, well, holy shit. All right.
Okay.
What's happening here?
Well, hold on for a second. King. Get back to your original point.
All right, so it says
the caption.
So now
get back to your point about the caption.
When in Miami, .. Hashtag, I keep telling y'all, hashtag, get one that can do both.
Ooh.
I be telling y'all.
But what? Explain what? Because I'm confused.
Well, first of all, Joy the Great, good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Good to see you. Okay, that's all I want to say right now.
It's been a couple of weeks.
All right, all right.
I missed you guys.
All right, good to see you. Get you one that could do both.
Because in season,
hold on a second. King, no, please don't speak behind that. Please don't speak behind that.
Sure.
Get you a girl that could do both. Michael Pratt, a.k.a. Very White.
Very
Here
white.
I am.
How are you, sir?
Doing so well. So glad to be here. So glad to see you.
Fantastic to see you, brother. Fantastic to see you. You got your Prime hoodie on. That's a nice sweat hood.
Thank you very much. I wore it in case anybody showed up tonight or is listening now who would be interested in maybe gifting me a new one. Because the neck, I've worn it day after day. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite hoodies.
Yes.
It's one of my only hoodies, but it's one of my favorite hoodies.
Well, I mean, there you go.
So
by default,
I've definitely put the
rolls
miles in, and I've seen the new ones, by the way. Mm-hmm. Those are fly, very fly. So
I would say Very
Prime.
White continue to do good work.
Thank you, Dallas.
And God rewards those who do good work.
Here I am to do that.
Are you not a moral man?
Oh man, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Well, tonight's guest inside the Spaceship Internets is an industry dinosaur, and I say that fondly. because
fondling.
Here's a man who is, the industry had a breaking point for many people in the early 2000s and early mid 2000s, and for a lot of people it was, do I still want to be inside this industry? Do I still want to do this work? Do I still love this thing that I'm doing? Mm-hmm. Because the playing field that you were on shifted.
True.
I mean, it was probably always moving, but it had a tectonic plate shift.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And I mean, you stayed inside and you kept and you stayed upright.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff Sledge.
What up, man? How you feeling?
Yeah.
Sledge. Tonight inside the space, you are Sledge, brother.
Okay. How you doing, Dallas? Good to see you, man.
Brother. Good to be seen, brother. Good to be seen.
Haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, definitely haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, King and Ava,
no
for having
question.
me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Question, brother.
Nice to meet all the squad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dope.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, you know what? We have to start with the journey as it begins.
Okay.
And I don't want the first time you went into a music company office. I want Jeff Sledge, ground zero. Where do you grow up?
I grew up in White Plains, New York.
Dig it.
Yeah, White Plains, New York. And then graduated high school and went to Morgan State down in Baltimore.
Damn, yeah.
But even previously, I always tell people, like, even when I was a kid in high school, like oddly enough, for that time period, I always wanted to work at a record company. But it was obviously a very different time period. It wasn't like the pop shit. It wasn't like the hot thing. Like, oh, my man work at Def Jam. Like, people looked at me like, what do you talk? What does that even mean?
You wanted to work with Hall & Oates.
Yeah, everything. Like I always I say, like, the person I think that influenced me the most was Frankie Crocker.
Damn.
Because I listened to the radio all the time as a kid.
The Quiet Storm.
Yeah, and he played everything.
Soft
so,
and warm.
like, that really sparked. Yeah, exactly. Word. And word. And he played all kind of music.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm gonna take it even further back and probably give away my age, or whatever. But like, when I was super super young, New York didn't even have a black radio station. No.
What do you mean? We had.
No, we didn't. No. When I was super young, it was AM radio, was WABC.
Yes.
And 66 something. That's what Don Imus and them was. That was
Okay.
it's AM radio. And the only black station we had was a station called WLIB.
LIB.
They were out on Long Island.
Yes.
So you couldn't really get that signal because it was only based out there. So ABC was, like I said, AM radio, and they played all the pop stuff. So, like, I ended up, looking backwards, kind of getting a pop ear. Mm-hmm. Because that's the music that I listened to as a kid, and then, like I said, a few years later, then BLS kicked off, and then 98.7 kicked off, and all that, and then but Frankie Crocker played everything.
Yes,
like everything. He played Rolling Stones, and he played Rick James, and he played Hall & Oates, and he played Grace Jones, and so it was like he kind of opened up a palette of music of cool shit. And so from there, I wanted to be on the radio. But I didn't really like my voice. I went to Morgan for communications.
Yes.
So I was like, well, I'll just be like, a radio programmer or something to kind of be around music. Mm-hmm. And graduated, and my pops used to work at IBM. So he got me a job at IBM, and I was like, right out of college, and you out of college, you go and be corporate America and be fly and wearing suits. But I hated it because I wanted to do the music. Yeah. I just didn't know how. So I came home a couple years after I graduated, and I just was reaching, man, because I didn't know anybody. Okay. So I was looking on the back of records. I'm calling, like, off the back of records.
You activated yourself and got into the ground.
Just I didn't know anybody. Mm-hmm. So I had a couple calls. I had a call with the guy on Eddie O'Loughlin. What's the name of the lady? That was a Salt and Pepper that was on.
Next Plateau.
Next Plateau, exactly. And a couple other people. But I was a little nervous. So it didn't happen, and then I saw an ad, and they used to always look in the newspapers for jobs. Back then it was one ads, And so one time I saw this
Gonna see it in the want ads.
Word. And one time I saw this ad it said looking for a person that has knowledge of rap music and radio. And I went to school for radio, and rap music was just life. You know what I mean? Just listening as a young person. And so I went down there, and that was Wild Pitch Records. And I was sitting there, and then Premier and Keith came out. They were on the label, and they were having a meeting with the owner, Stu, and they came out, and we started talking, and I was telling him, I like your video, blah, blah, blah. Words I Manifest.
Words I Manifest,
yeah,
right.
I was like, I like the video. And then if Premier was here, he would tell you, like, he was like, Stu, I like him, hire him. And so me and Stu had an interview, and then he hired me. So that was my first job. It was me, Stu, and his wife, who was did the art.
When Premier sees you, does he ever say, like, yo,
all the time,
I put you on?
No question.
You owe me money.
No money.
Premier never shook you down.
No, he never shook me down,
okay,
but he definitely holds it over my head that he got my first job. And so
Premier got a black man a job?
Yeah, I mean one.
One. You only need to do one. One time, that's it.
Listen.
I don't know about that side. So his wife would leave every day, so it would just be me and Stu. So I ended up learning so much about working in a record company without realizing what I was doing, because I was just doing it. Yeah. I was just making calls and going to retail stores, and I went on the road with Gangstar, and I would go to the studio. So I was the A&R side, but I didn't even realize what I was doing. I was calling people and talking to people and going into clubs at night and just moving it and grooving it. And that's kind of how I got my start. So I was always like a little different from a lot of my peers, because I didn't work, because I didn't intern or whatever. Like, I didn't just like come in this department or come in that department. Like,
you were the department.
Yeah, we handled the department.
That's beautiful. You were the label.
Yeah, we handled the department.
Machine.
He gave me.
You were literally the machine.
Yeah, he gave me a binder when I first started. He said, call all these people every week. So I would, and it would be
radio guys or
everything. Right. Radio guys. I called the guys up at Billboard. So I was doing publicity. Didn't realize it. Distribution. Yeah, we'd get returns. I count the returns. I call the distributors. I talked to the one stops.
Soul.
Yeah, Rock and Soul. Yeah, Benji at Rock and Soul. I talked to the one stops. Then I was doing A&R, not realizing it, because I was going to the studio and I'm telling, yo, like Lord Finesse, you should work with this person. Not realizing what I was doing. I was just living in the moment. And then that's kind of how that was my path to kind of get in. And then one more.
Could you explain what a one stop is?
Well, a one stop. Well, this distributors. This is back when we had cassettes and vinyl and CDs. A one stop was a kind of like a they'd set up in a region, so it'd be like a one stop in like the tri-state area, and that one stop would get all the music in from everywhere, from overseas and from the different record companies, and then the record stores would go to the one stop and say, okay, give me like 200 LL cassettes. Give me like 150 Public Enemies. Give me 90 KRS.
So your one stop is where you get your numbers from, then.
Yes, but the one stop. So the interesting thing about I'm going to talk about Jive in a minute. But one of the interesting things about Jive is Barry Weiss. What he taught me was, at that point, he mastered the one stop game, because when you work, the one stops were grimy. They were like, they were grimy. It was cash. It was dirty. It was. It was scams going. It was like, yo, fuck them. Don't sell them that. So it was the mob.
Yes,
it was literally the mob was kind of running on that stuff. But what the one stops were, they were unlike we have anything like this now. Was if you go into a guy who worked at a one stop, it'd be like this old, no disrespect, but like some old white cat, and you'd be like, hey Angelo, what's hot? And he would know. Because he's knowing what people are calling him and asking for.
The stores are going there.
The stores are going. So and independent kids who might have a label, they're sending their stuff to the one stop. So then the stores are, like you said, then the stores are buying it. So like as an example, when Jive signed UGK, that was because he called Texas and said, "What's hot?" And the guy at the one stop in Texas said, "This is group from Port Arthur named UGK, and they're selling, records. Like, man, you should kind of take a look at them." Same KRS-One, R. Kelly came through that system. Too Short, most of the early acts at Jive were picked up off the one stops. So the one stop,
R. Kelly was public announcement back then.
No, he was on a label called Tav Dash.
Dig it.
His first label was called Tav Dash, owned by a cat who ended up doing some time. So it was an independent thing. So when the guy, his name was Dave, his last name might have been Tav Dash actually, but when he ended up going to do some time, he sold R. Kelly's contract to Jive.
Dig it.
So Rob was even an independent artist at first. Yeah, the first R. Kelly and Public Announcer was independent.
Dig it.
That's fucking crazy.
Dig it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. So, but anyway,
That
so
was
yeah,
like
so,
analytics, like the
that's how it looks now. But it was more human.
Yeah.
Because I could just go to you and say what's hot.
Right.
I have to read it. You and you could feel it. It's like I feel a pull because the kids are coming in and asking for this. You know.
It's like a Dewey Decimal System.
Exactly. So that's kind of how that was my kind of first thing, and then Gangstar. So we had some fun at Wild Pitch. They did their first album there. Lord Finesse was on Gangstar. Chirab G, Main Source. What's up, my man Lati? Lakim Shabazz. Lakim Shabazz, and the kid named Lati. So again, we were all just learning together. We were all kids. We didn't know shit. Just
His wife did the art. That was a dope logo.
yeah. His wife did the art. But she hated hip hop. So every day, like 4:30, she would go home.
Right.
But so then that's what me and Stu would just kind of do our thing, and we talk and move around and go out at night and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun, man. But it was a small label, and in that era, it was a lot of labels, little labels, and everybody was signed. But of course, those little labels was ganking people and taking their pub and doing all kind of underhanded shit.
Do me a Wild Pitch.
Yeah, exactly. The pitch that's wild. I forget who said that.
Oh, Brand Nubian.
Yeah. It was Brand Nubian. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, so
It's Lord Jamar that said that.
yeah, Lord Jamar. Yeah. So I ended up leaving with Gangstar to go to Chrysalis. They switched labels and went to Chrysalis was a major label, and they told me they wanted me to go with them. They was like, "Yo, we want you to come with us because you helped us, kind of get it popping." So actually, Premier them got me 2 jobs.
Dig it. Damn.
So I went there and worked there with them for a while, and then I left there and went and started a Jive.
That was a shot at me.
Okay. So I mean, what is the industry at this time? Because
It's buck wild and not. I mean, you know what the industry was at this point? It was really reflected. The parts of the movie that really kind of caught that energy was Juice when he was in the club and stuff like that. Like that's kind of what you would. They filmed at this club called The Building. That was actual club that we would go to.
Yes,
so
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse, exactly. So it was like that. It was something to do every night. There was always an album release party or a club or somebody was DJing here or you go to the radio station to go see, Red Alert or whatever. There was something to do, and there was kind of it was hip hop as far as the record companies goes was so new. You had Def Jam and them kind of doing it, but then, like I said, all these other labels kind of popped up, and then major labels were kind of spending money to get in, and it was just, it was kind of wild. But it was a lot of good. I hate to sound like the old dude, but it was a lot of the people I think that were in it, got in it at that point, really did because we loved the music and the culture. And it sounds corny, but it really is true. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
Where else
it wasn't
were they
to hit a
gonna
lick.
get people?
Yeah, it wasn't. Nobody was trying to hit a lick because we didn't even know what a lick was.
Yeah.
Right.
What was the album on? What's the name of the? How do you pronounce it?
Chrysalis.
Chrysalis. Was that earned? Was that?
That was Step in the Arena.
Step in the Arena. How many videos came off that one album?
You know what? I don't remember. I do remember we shot the one with when he's what's the name of the record?
There was X to Next. Right? Was
X to Next, but who's the one when oh my God, Fat Freddy shot the video. It was black and white.
Oh, the jazz one.
No, it was it was a big record. I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Just to
out
Get a
so
Rep?
long ago. Yes.
Yeah.
Just to Get a Rep.
Yeah, they were like
Yeah.
like I remember I was like such a fan just of Gangstar, but more importantly of the music industry. That's why
you were a super Gangstar
fan.
Oh, you?
Yes.
Were you?
Yeah, super Gangstar fan, super fan of just the industry though,
Yes.
because I was
Okay.
dying to get into
To get in, right?
So I would watch when they took that deal. I noticed like they did maybe 4 or 5 videos.
No, they spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah, I was like, yo, finally these guys are
Yeah.
getting like the
They
fucking
spent a lot of money on
support
them.
that-
It happened to work. I mean, they were a talented group, but also their manager at the time was this cat named Patrick Moxie,
Yeah, I remember.
who's still around. He has a label called Ultra now, does dance music.
And then he's a
English-
publishing company.
He's doing really well. He's an English cat. So I think Chrysalis was owned by an English guy. So I think that also helped because like it was like Patrick could go in there and get things that some of the other managers couldn't because he was this young English cat. He was popping.
Payday.
Payday. So they gave Gangster a lot of.
What was the club he had, Dallas? We used to go there.
$100,000 ball?
No, before that.
I mean, if you're talking about Payday, $100,000 ball, you talking about?
Payday.
That was Payday.
Payday.
The party he threw.
Yeah, that was Patrick.
Yeah.
Let me just interject. So this guy, what's his name? Moxie.
Patrick Moxie.
And he was it Payday Records? He was responsible for.
No.
Okay.
No. Payday, the club.
Payday was a party, and these rogue parties happened at different law spaces on Broadway.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with the label.
No.
It's two separate things.
No.
Got it.
Matter of fact, at this point in New York City, what happened was for night spots, we really became
started Payday Records though.
We became decentralized for night spots.
Well, that's why I asked because I noticed that now they did a revival of Payday Records.
Oh, I didn't know that they restarted.
Where DJ Premier is putting out these singles.
Oh, then that's
he put one out with ASAP
Ferg,
Ferg, and then he put one out with Casanova. As like the new.
Yeah, he's kind of rebranding.
Yeah. So it is okay.
Yeah, so cool. So that was it. Like I went to Jive and I stayed at Jive for a long time, and did I started doing promotion.
When did you start at Jive?
I started Jive in late '91.
Tribe Called Quest.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, so when I got there, they were working on.
Yo, I like how Sledge is like, I was at Jive. Yeah, we wasn't really doing shit. We was just like,
Well, we had Tribe Quest.
I was there. We didn't. What happened?
We did some things.
We did but it wasn't.
We
like you might have heard of.
We got the jazz.
You might have heard.
Yeah. The guy that owned Jive was really smart. He had the publisher company.
Barry White.
Clive Calder.
Okay.
But he had a publishing company. We had Battery Studios. We had Dream Hire, which rented all the equipment for the studios. Right. Well, not we, it was him. Right. And obviously Jive Records, all in the same building. Right. So what he would do was a genius, actually. So like, say I'm going to assign you, Joy, right? And then here's your budget of, $250,000, let's say, right? To make your record. You take your advance and the rest to make your record. So now you're going to pay me to use my studio. Right. And all the equipment in the studio, you're going to pay me to rent it.
Right.
And then I own your publishing too.
Right.
He was genius.
Yeah.
Zomba, yeah. So I got there and they were making Low End Theory.
That's gangsta gang moves.
They were making Low End Theory when I got the job.
That's phenomenal.
And Chris was making Sex and Violence, and Will Smith had just come off Summertime. Short, I think, was probably off of Born to Mac, maybe, or Life is Too Short. So the job was popping.
Job was popping, but you,
I did promotion.
You were actually a veteran at this point too.
Well, yeah, 3 or 4 years.
I mean, listen, it only take you 3 months in the water to get your leg blowed off. So
this is real.
So you're a veteran.
Yeah. So I got there and I'm doing promotion, and so I did promotions on Low End Theory and Minister Society, and like I said, all the KRS stuff and some other artists. I'm sorry, whoever I'm forgetting, please forgive me. And then Barry, but I told you I worked at this little label, so I did everything. So Barry would always ask me stuff like music, like what you think about this single and we should produce that. So he saw I was an A&R person before I did. I was like, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
So in like '93. He started letting me sit in A&R meetings, and in '93, he's like, okay, you're going to be an A&R person, no more promotion for you. And the first project you're going to do is Shaquille O'Neal. So
Pun was on that record? No, that's not the one that
Pun was later. No, that was later.
Oh, I know which one that was.
We did 2 albums. The first one went platinum.
Platinum, yeah.
Second one went gold. So that was my first 2 records. Was like
Twism?
boom boom.
Was that Twism or something?
Nah, pre-Twism.
Yeah,
pre-Twism.
Wow.
Super early.
Yeah,
Damn,
we are outstanding. All that type of stuff. Yeah,
like a catalog.
Yeah, he does.
Who from those A&R meetings during those early years is still around?
Nobody.
God damn, that's what I said.
Some really talented
that's
people.
what I said. There was a tectonic. There was an earthquake that happened.
Yeah.
A volcano that happened.
And I'm like, not on some humble shit. I was not the best A&R person at that table. But I just, somehow I ended up being the last man standing. But there were some really talented people on our staff, like guys that had done, like my man Sean Kazoff, captain. He used to work with the Beastie Boys. Like my man Wayne Williams, he's the one who signed R. Kelly. Sophia Chang, who's still in the industry but not doing A&R. Yep. She signed Hieroglyphics and Fushnikins. So like it was some real. We had a talented staff. We really did.
That's
we
crazy.
really did. Yeah, we got some good people there. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Super interesting.
Yeah, so I started doing A&R, and then like I said, Shaq was my first project, and that took off. And then I signed Keith Murray, and I started doing KRS stuff from Return to Boom Bap.
Ooh,
that was the first album I A&R with him.
Yeah, and then here comes Primo again. Back in your life.
That was me.
Yeah,
I put that together. Chris won't admit that.
Hold on a second. Everyone that's keeping score at home. Okay, Primo 2, Sledge 1. So Primo actually still up 1.
Yeah. See, Primo's still up 1. Yeah,
Primo still up 1.
So that was me, like saying putting that together.
For those keeping score at home,
Chris won't admit that, but and then
that's at D&D, right?
Yeah, we did everything at D&D. Yeah. And then I remember one
Naughty
day,
Cotto, shout out.
Yeah, I forgot about Naughty. And I remember one day talking to Chris, and because again I worked at Finesse, so I knew all the DITC guys from Finesse. The only one I never really knew was Joe, which is weird. But all other ones, Diamond, Showbiz, I knew all those guys. So I remember telling Chris, yo, these two guys, man, they kind of dope. I think you should do a record with the producer. This guy named Showbiz. He was like, right. And I was like, yeah, he's from the Bronx too. Like, you should. He was like, all right, hook it up. So I hooked it up, and Show came down, and they did Sound of the Police.
Wow. Shout out to my brother, Show.
So,
good man.
So Boom Bap was a that was a good album. That was a good album. Yeah, that was a good album.
You know how many times I got drunk?
You are a motherfucking dinosaur.
Is that early 90s, right?
That's
yeah, Boom Bap was probably 94, 3 or 4.
So now we're talking about, just for time, and I was a kid, obviously, but we're talking about now when you turn on the radio at night, it's Funkmaster Flex ringing off.
Yeah.
Cause I remember, like, my brothers they'd be listening to Flex, and that song would be like part of his everyday set.
Bro.
Yeah. Man. So we had some fun, man. We had a lot of fun.
So you don't realize at the time, of course, that you are creating cultural landmarks.
It sounds so goofy, man, but like at that time, like I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna come forward. So like the other thing about when I was really young that I forgot to mention is I started to go out at a very young age to clubs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
you West Indian?
No.
Oh,
No.
Just
but
asking.
no, that's fine. No, so I went to
he's not a coconut, he's a chitlin.
Exactly. I'm a chillin'. I went to the Fever, you know what I'm saying, and then like Bonds International, and then started going. That's when me and Reg used to bond over the garage. Used to go to the garage and Zanzibar.
What night you used to go to the garage?
Friday night.
Okay, let's be clear.
I know. Come on, bro.
Sledge, you know.
Friday night.
If I catch you, Sledge.
Friday, you try to catch me slipping. I respect the G though. And Danceteria and all those clubs that
you used to get into the old tunnel, the tunnel before it turned into the tunnel?
because me and Chris Lighty were close. So me and
Chris,
I'm
talking about.
I started going to the tunnel when Lighty and Jessica was doing. I didn't do the tunnel, but I did do Danceteria and a lot of those other downtown clubs. So I was a club kid.
You was a club. I mean, first of all, he was on Broadway and going to. Remember, I tried to tell y'all earlier. Once Latin Quarter closed,
that was it.
Like we lost Garage and Latin Quarter back to back. We lost Union Square the year before that.
Yeah,
Union Square was gone. Then Garage was gone. Then Latin Quarter was gone.
What was the reason of all these closures?
Niggas.
Niggas. One niggas. Niggas, one niggas, but essentially.
So the way y'all talk, the way hip hop talks about these clubs, we would think that whoever was running them was like.
Well, hold on a second. Let me tell you now. Union Square as a party closed. The venue still operated as a nightclub. The venue became underground. And it had niggas in it. Yeah. And niggas was dancing to reggae.
Yeah.
And there was still spots. You could still hear, hold on for a second. You could still go here rap in a club, but you could not be dressed like You couldn't be rocking no low. You couldn't be rocking your colorful low. If you was rocking low, you had to have a tie on and go to Bentley's or go to Red Parrot.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what Bentley's really kicked in around that time. Then Red Parrot.
No, Bentley's was already kicking.
Popping, but Red Parrot really kicked because a lot of hustlers.
Red Parrot really kicked. Red Parrot,
started going to the Red Parrot. That became like the Uptown Harlem hot shit.
Yes.
The Red Parrot became that.
Yeah. Well, Red Parrot became for the hustlers from Harlem and Queens and Brooklyn to all convene.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's
started
what
the cars.
Because Harlem had its own spots too. You go to Perks, you go to different things in Harlem and kind of just keep it.
But Perks is more like
laid back,
bar, cocaine.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a party.
Well, you had rooftop. You had rooftop.
True.
I'm saying Harlem niggas had their shit. They could stay uptown. Brooklyn niggas could stay out in Brooklyn. But there were certain spots in the city that's
convergent spot. Yeah,
of all drug dealers.
Of all, just like hot boys and hot girls.
Correct.
But my point was, so when my thing was, you asked me about like, did I know what was going on? My whole thing was just like, I just like to hear my song in the club. I just like to be able to be in the club and be like, I did this.
Yeah.
You know, and then God bless, that still happens today with certain records. Like I hear like Blow the Whistle by Too Short, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So like I still hear stuff that I worked on today with, you know, like I was in at BT Awards and they played International Players Anthem with UGK, you know, Outkast, and I was like,
how was that? You know. I mean, I don't want to you know what? No, we'll get to that.
No.
I like the storyline right now.
Follow your thread right there.
I don't want to
get that feeling.
I'll get back.
Ask about that feeling right there.
Yo, you talking about when that record goes off anywhere, radio?
Yeah, it goes off.
Like I think hip hop just puts down the guns. And they're like, yo, fuck all that.
Yeah,
and you just have a moment for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like how was doing that record? Like
it was well, you know,
who was on that record? You talking about?
It was Outkast. So it was obviously 3000 and Big Boy,
right?
And then Chad and Bun, so Pimp C and West, and Bumby. So and then DJ Paul produced it.
Yes.
So that's you got a convergence of three double man groups. 360 Mafia, Outkast, UGK. That's what.
How did that come about? Like who?
Well, Bun and Chad were always close with Juicy and Paul. They had done Sipping on Some Syrup, and they just they were all in that Chitlin circuit of things. So Pimp C had come home, and we started working on that particular album, and you know he actually put the record together because those are his guys. And I've told this story before about, and I told you this story. So, they had sent it in, but I sent it to Andre and Big Boy to get on it, and then they did their thing and they sent it in, and I think Chad happened to be in New York, so he came to my office to listen to it. So we listened to it, and you remember in the beginning, there's no music. It's just choose it, and there's no drums. You know, hurry, step to the altar. And so when we listened to it, Chad got pissed off because he was like, who the fuck is Andre to change my record? Because he took the drums out. Because Andre had this thing at that time, if he still does, but at that time, if you listen to a lot of the features he did, he would always either mute the drums or just or something that he would change the track because he wanted people to hear him.
Right, it was like an introduction. Like,
and he always wanted people to hear him.
Here.
He didn't want the music to be going and have to fight the music. So that's why he took the drums out. And so Chad got really mad, but he's like, I don't know this nigga to take my drums out. He's changing my record, da-da-da. And we had this whole conversation, and I told Chad, I said, hey man, but like, it's actually kind of fly because when the drums start, that's when your verse starts. So like you actually ignite the record. Like Andre's verse is flames, but when it's Sweet John, but the choosy, like that's when the record boom. I said, so you actually get the lift off. You get the lift off. And so he sat there and he's like, all right, Jeff, I'm gonna take a chance, but if it don't work, fuck you know. But obviously, it worked, and then it was great. And we went to LA and shot the video, and that video was kind of wild because like T-Pain is playing the choir director in there, and David Banner's in the car with Bumby. Yeah. They weren't supposed to be in the video. They just heard we were in LA shooting a video, and they just came. Like what? Outkast, and they just drove on their own, and we just threw T-Pain in a choir because we shot it in an actual church. You keep trying to shoehorn
Pitbull in it. What was Pitbull?
No, Pitbull wasn't in there. Okay, it was the little boy that was.
You kept trying to shoehorn him in it, so I'm like, what was Pitbull making tacos in the back?
No.
catering, food service? No.
No, but it was wild, man.
He's doing good now, though.
Yeah, he's doing great. Yeah. But a lot of people wouldn't have, like Fonzo Bentley, like a lot of those guys, they just came because they just heard these two legendary groups were shooting a video, and they just say, okay, well, you could do this, and
that wasn't
you could
casting.
do that.
It
wasn't. They just came on the love. They just wanted to be
amazing.
in it. Yeah, and we shot in an actual church, so it actually kind of felt like a wedding. Wow. You know, like it kind of felt like, because we had her in a bridal gown, it actually felt like a wedding. The whole day just felt really good. It just felt really, really good. So, I mean,
that's an incredible moment. And of course, yes, that song still to this minute. That's the other thing that's incredible too, to have those timeless songs that don't simply define that moment, but they keep time.
Going. Yeah. So then when like I said, I turned to do A&R. I did Chad. I did UGK later. I did Shaq, but then the other record that they gave us, they gave me Chris, but then they gave me Tribe. Mm-hmm. So then A&R Midnight Marauders on.
Oh man,
wow.
You know,
we're gonna stay here.
There's a lot. There's a lot right here. There's a lot right here.
I'm here for it.
So that's when. Well, me and Lighty actually already been kind of cool because he tried to get me to sign this kid years ago, and I didn't sign him. No, it wasn't Chia Lee. He was Chia Lee. It was, remember the other guy named Jeff? Jeff was this other little kid. He was on a De La album, and they were shopping them both at the same time. And he signed Chia Lee, and he wanted me to sign Jeff. Mm-hmm. And I did, and we used to have these like little debates, man. Nigga, you fucked up, you should have signed. And so we kind of came cool. And then also I meant to mention, it comes to me as I talk. At Wild Pitch, we were done, our office was on 29th Street between 7th and 8th. We were on the 2nd floor. On the 5th floor was Red Alert Productions. Mm-hmm. So that was the other thing I had in my back pocket. I would see Red every day. Mm-hmm. And Dave Funkin' Klein and all the artists would come through, like De La, Tribe, Black Sheep, Dresden. I'd see those guys every day upstairs. I just go upstairs 3 flights.
Yeah.
So me and Tribe, and not so much me and Tribe, but really me and Lighty had already developed a relationship because I would always see Chris up at the office. So by the time I got to A&R, and then I obviously promoted Low End. I did promotions on Low End, so I was going on the road with them, moving around.
I mean, you're at the building, you're at Powerhouse, you're on the scene, so
when I did
constantly
so by the time I got to do Midnight Marauders, we had developed a relationship.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't like I was coming in cold.
Right.
So
So
that was my first as an A&R person. That was the first project with Tribe.
Vinia.
Oh, Vinia Mahika, yeah. She was dope too.
Yeah.
That was the girl who was on
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly why she never really took off because she was being.
You didn't sign her, dude.
No.
That's why I'm mentioning her.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Fucked up with that one.
Funny story. True story. Internet's. I have a phone book saved in my archives from those days
with her number.
With Vinny's number.
Wow. She's from Long Island, right? She's a Long Island girl?
Man, where was she from at the time? I can't call it, but
she was friends with Dayla and them.
All I know is I bagged her number up.
She was a cutie.
She was
fine.
She was official.
She was
Shout
fine.
to Dream Hampton.
Dream. Yeah. All those we all were together back then.
That was really the curly hair wave. Not Vanessa.
Vanessa who?
I don't know what they talking
Williams?
about right now.
Oh shit! No.
It's gonna come. It'll come to you.
Yeah, it'll come. We old niggas here too.
Yeah.
We dinosaurs too.
We're all dinosaurs, except you, Joy.
Yo, Highline Ballroom, September 26, 2018. Queens Get the Money. Onyx, Havoc, Mobb Deep, Superbad Solus, Internet's You come through. Highline Ballroom.
So are you partial, or do you have a preference between Midnight and Low End?
That's a good ass question. That's a really good. I don't think anybody ever asked me that before.
Jeff and Eric didn't ask you that.
No.
Got him again.
That's a good one, man. That's a really good question.
Let's go around the room too. I want to hear.
Oh man, that's a good question.
Well, or maybe you can answer it based on your experience. Like, what was the more fun record to make, or more interesting?
Well, again, the thing about the cool thing about Jive, like I said, everything was in the same building. So even when I wasn't doing A&R as a officially, like we would always just go to the studio all the time.
Sure.
So I was around when they were making Low End as well, and and a bunch of other artists making their records too. I think, You know what? Low End was kind of like the coming out party. You know, they had the first album, People's Distinctions. My guy Sean Kazoff, I mentioned earlier, he signed Tribe.
Okay.
But then Low End was like the one that was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like they lifted everything to another level. Fife lifted his rhyme, and Q-Tip lifted the production. Like, you know, the mixes were better, and like everything was just better. But then Midnight was like stamping it. Like Midnight was like, okay, that shit wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
Like it was like, okay, you know, we got to show them that we just didn't like kind of like get lucky that time. And Midnight was the one that was like, okay, these guys are like really officially that next level. But it's really hard to pick one, man. I can't.
I'll do it for you, Midnight.
Bang.
I mean, everybody has their preference, and there's no, to me, there's no wrong answer.
There is no wrong answer.
You know, on this,
but there is a right answer.
I mean, right.
I think Midnight Marauders, like you alluded to, was Low End Theory on steroids. Yeah, like from the skits, the sonic, the samples,
the videos.
It just, all right, so Low End Theory was more rough. It was more rough than Midnight, but Midnight was like smooth rough.
But see, that was
like smooth rough.
But that was the thing. I'm sure you guys in here understood it, but like that you kind of nailed it, in that's why Tip named it the Low End Theory, because it was very bottom heavy,
right, yep.
And then very more gritty, and also black people were on the low end of the totem pole, so it was like double, triple entendres as to what that title meant. A lot of people didn't kind of catch that really, but so you saying that it was more gritty makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's that Murray Bergstrom education.
but then Midnight Marauders had one of the hardest verses in hip hop history.
Which one is
by
that
way
one?
of Large Professor.
Oh, Paul's right. Yeah, Paul's an interesting guy.
Yo,
I love him, but I love that he's finally coming out of his shell now.
Yeah.
And it's like Paul, like 20 years ago, you couldn't find him. He disappeared on you. But now I see him out. He's happy, smiling. I'm like, wow.
The samples.
Yeah. What
was that like? Was that 2 years in itself?
No, it wasn't quite that long, but it was you had to be very diligent to stay on tip. Like, yeah, that's again another great reason that we had access to the studio, because he could be making a record, and I'd be like, what is that?
Right.
I'm writing it down, and we'd have fights. Like for a minute, me and Tip didn't even talk for a minute, because I would be like, "Yo, I need the sample." We'd have these big arguments because he wouldn't want to give them up, and
And you're talking about for sample clearances.
Yeah, for clearances. Like, dude, I need to do it so I can turn it in to legal, and we can get started, man. Like
while you're working, because this is going to take a long time to track these composers down, right?
Exactly.
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm just saying for the internet.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
but
let's let them understand.
I want to back that. Yeah,
because he's just Q-Tip.
Yeah,
That's just Q-Tip being Q-Tip. This is who he is.
It's the culture too, and the beat culture back then, especially, was kind of like, these are my.
Yeah, like I dug in the crates for these. I don't want to really let you know what this is. I found this in Japan when I was on tour at this record store in the back, in the corner.
Right.
They only got 3 of these.
Crate digging.
So you crate digging.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this culture of like I'm not going to tell you my records, and guys would tape the names.
That's just like any magician. You know what I mean? The prestige. You cannot reveal your trick. Yeah.
So you were getting the jump on them a little bit.
Oh yeah, we had to.
Right.
We had to.
Especially back then, there was no
we had to.
emails.
Yeah, there's no emails. Yeah, no, we had to.
And you were doing that. This is like super inside baseball, but whatever. So you were doing that in house, or were you sending it to like?
We eventually started. There was a woman who actually worked that job for a bit. Yeah, Deborah Mansgarner. She worked that job for a little bit, and then decided to start her own business. And she started her own business from job.
She was getting that work. She was getting that work.
Yo, dude, there's not a record that's out right now that she doesn't.
Yeah, she's got it. She's been doing it for 20-something years.
Wow.
It's like she got.
I didn't know she started a job.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I said Deborah as a joke.
I said Deborah Mansgarner. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
While we're doing inside baseball for the listeners who don't know
that's a
as much as you all.
Talkitecture property, by the way. Now, cook my culture. Sorry.
Ooh, yeah.
I was just,
No, it's good. No.
You're getting strong tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Took that hat off, my
He
nigga.
took the hat off and got
He let his black
He got
skin
that
hair
shea
now.
butter. He got that shea butter in his hair. It's full up.
He talking over everybody.
we don't no copycat shit over here.
There you go. kind of lost the question.
Forgot the question.
Sorry, man.
No.
Sorry,
It's good.
Brad, sorry,
because I
my
had
bad.
another one. I was like, all right, now I'll hold that one.
Inside
But,
baseball.
Yeah,
Inside
inside
baseball.
baseball.
For the internet.
I know. Based on your popularity as an artist, clearing samples, you know.
Then or now?
Now.
Okay.
Because even back then, though. Now you get a big artist.
Well, now somebody knows that. Wait a minute, this is going to go for something hip hop.
More than ever. You know, I mean, at that point, well, it had kind of started to become a business at that point, right? Where these older artists, these older publishers started to realize that there was money to be generated from catalog that was just kind of sitting around, but it didn't full off really kick until maybe like the mid to late 90s. My theory is always was, I felt like the publishers went out of their way to make samples hard to clear to kill Public Enemy.
Yes.
Because
Bomb
Public
Squad.
Enemy would
The
have
Bomb
30,
Squad.
they'd have 30 samples in a song.
Yes.
Literally 25 30 samples in a song.
Yes.
Like you cannot make those records now.
Yes.
It's too expensive.
Sledge.
It's too much going
Sledge.
on. And so I felt like they
Get
were
out
like,
of
you know
my
what?
Twitter feed.
Public Enemy's getting too big. How can we cut their knees? We'll cut their knees by cutting their music. That sound will go away because we're just not gonna clear all
The
these
Bomb
samples.
Squad wall of sound could never be produced
It can't be produced again.
in
It's
the
too-
climate.
Yeah, there's too many. It's like literally 20 samples sometimes in a song. Because they'll use something for like, "Well," and that'll just be it. Like, it's just, it's too much. It'll be too expensive to make those records. It'll be millions of dollars to make those records.
But I guess my question was more so, you had like Mac Miller, and it was Lord Finesse, right? Or was it Large
Oh,
Professor?
yeah, it was Finesse.
Finesse.
It was Finesse, yeah.
And so you had that, and then, at the end of J. Cole's Forest Hills Drive album, he's saying, y'all got to get better at clearing these samples, man. Y'all making it too hard out here to make music. Like, I'm going to have to put a call in and do something about it. And then now we get it to where we learn, and again, this is based on popularity of the artist. Album could be finished on Monday, comes out Friday, and all the samples and everything.
See, the thing is, that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of records floating around out here with uncleared samples.
Well, that was my
yeah.
question.
There's a lot of records actually in 2018 that are floating around here with everything not cleared. What happens though is the publishers now have made so much money and so in. It's not in pockets because that's not what it is, but they're just in business with the labels to the point where, like, even if it doesn't get cleared, they're like, we'll clear it. We're not going to stop you. We're going to clear it eventually. Obviously, the more it sells, the more we'll make anyway.
Right, if it pops,
so we're not going to stop you.
We'll get on it.
But the reason you're seeing a lot of these records turn so quickly now is because of that. Because I'm telling you, like, just coming out the door, there's a lot of records from the younger artists who don't, who try to make records in 2 and 3 weeks time that they're putting out and everything is not cleared.
Sure. Or I'll notice
a lot of loose ends.
Yeah, even larger or bigger name artists. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll listen to a record, and because it's on a streaming service now, the sample has been taken out.
Yeah.
So the song sounds like a Section 80. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm
for
sure.
Kendrick's album.
Yeah, because Kendrick didn't clear that stuff back then. It was a mixtape.
Right.
So he didn't have the money to clear it if he wanted to. He just put it
The Mac
out.
Miller thing is super interesting to me because I think that set a precedent, right? Because he wasn't selling that record.
Hey, Shmigel, stop for a second. Right. When we say the Mac Miller thing, I think the best thing we can do for our listeners
what happened.
is yes, right. Because if we're too inside baseball inside this room,
we're gonna start losing people.
Yeah, what the fuck are these people talking about?
Listen, my friends.
Inside baseball with Hisham Miguel.
No. Because a lot of these guys are just sitting around eating simple carbs, beating their dicks. I want you to Google this. That way we don't have to fucking stop every fucking 2 seconds. You're in front of your computer anyway, you fucking asshole. Just look it up. But for Dallas' sake, we'll do this. So Mac Miller put out a record that used a Lord Finesse beat. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the instrument. I can't tell you what the record was, but it was an instrumental on YouTube. It was on a mixtape. It never went up for sale. Finesse didn't just take it down. He didn't ask for it. He sued them.
Yep.
Right? And from what I hear, because I know Mac Miller's version was like, hey, we reached out to him, we tried to talk to him, but he was like, fuck that, I'm going for the money. But the other side I hear, you know, from the DITC side, finesse side, is, well, no, he reached out to them and they were kind of like, go fuck yourself. Right? So I was like, all right, cool, say less. And he went out.
Here come a lawsuit.
Yeah. The Funk Soul Brothers, they should have did their research because he got them niggas.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Rob,
The Funk Soul Brothers, that's his voice.
Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim, that's his voice.
Yeah.
He got them niggas back in.
He made a nice chunk of bread off that.
So he already got that attorney on his phone, my nigga.
Imagine clearing samples on a Fat Boy Slim record.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, so
Yeah.
so that happened.
It's a guy, Norman Cook. That's his name, Norman Cook. Fat Boy
That's
Slim.
why that happened to Finesse in the past. My nigga, I know how to do this. Why would you play with me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. God bless him. Like I said, I knew him since he was 19, man. 18, 17,
So
16.
yeah, he came up.
He was on Wild Pitch.
Yeah, he came up.
But you were saying it set a precedent?
Yeah, so like the YouTube thing, because the guy, he didn't put it on a record. It wasn't official, quote unquote official release. I believe he did a YouTube video for it. So now it's kind of like, yeah, all that. Remember when it was kind of like, nah, we just gonna put it out on the street. It's gonna be on a mixtape. Nah,
No matter what, you got to pay.
Yeah, you gotta pay. It happened to Action Bronson too.
Yeah.
It was a mixtape record. He used a Grand Combo record, I think, some Latin record, and they came back.
Came at him.
Yeah, they came at him. So be careful.
Yeah.
All you
Get them
fugazi
samples
fucking
cleared.
rappers listening to this.
Or Robin
Fucking
Thicke and
assholes.
Pharrell. I mean, like I said, it goes from Mac Miller all the way to the big pimping on your house, on your court steps.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, if it ultimately pops, then yeah, you got to pay. But I mean, shit.
But Jeff, you did your job
if it
really well
pops.
because our guys never caught one. Or
Oh
did
no,
they?
Tribe never. No, we were on it, man.
Yeah, I
We were on
remember
it.
reading
Yeah, we were
the
on
credits
it.
and seeing where all the samples came from. And it was like,
everything
oh, man,
listed and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we were on it, man. We
So,
yeah,
you know what I did? I found all those records. And,
Really?
And you guys could look this up too. I put all those records on a breakbeat album back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know about the one stops and rock
Okay.
and soul. So I used your art. I'm telling on myself right here.
Okay.
And I kind of created a Tribe Called Quest. Here are the samples that they used album.
Here's
Did-
the source.
did it
Here's the
sell?
source.
Yes, make good money off that.
Good for you.
I did that a lot actually. I did it
Okay.
with Biggie. I did it with Tribe.
Okay.
It was dope. It was a
You were
dope.
Rican before then?
Yeah. So it was Sack of Souls. We used to call them. I did like 20 volumes of them shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Come and get me, cocksuckers. Give a fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yo, I just told people who I was.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Brother Brisk got the
Oh,
guillotine.
Yeah, all right.
Got the
Yeah,
slicing,
you're gonna
the slice and dice.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, we may.
Q-Tip like prides himself in like being like a dig in the crates kind
Oh
of
yeah,
guy.
him.
I just see him in
Pete-
clubs
Him,
and records.
Pete
Yeah,
Rock,
like he probably like
Just.
him, Just Paul, Large Professor Paul,
Yeah, Paul,
Dante Ross.
Still.
They still dig today.
Yeah.
They'll like take little trip
Alchemist.
places. Like
You're right.
yeah, they'll,
he
they'll
said
take
like
little
I
trips.
remember him
Yeah.
doing like an interview like saying like he'll like no matter what city he went to he would find.
Oh, they go
like,
to a
the-
record store.
Like he'll find like the record
Yeah.
store.
Have,
And
have
no
you been
dig.
into wax museums? How many vinyl do you think Q-Tip has?
His house burned down. though,
Yeah,
right?
he lost. So,
right,
he
he
lost
okay.
in the fire.
Yeah, I remember
that previous to the fire, his shit was enormous pause. But I don't know.
pause.
I don't know how many.
Legit pause.
Yeah,
Legit
yeah, it was
pause.
a mad
Legit
pause. I was wilding.
Yeah.
Whew, I was
Egregious.
wilding.
That was
But his collection was crazy pre-fire. And you know it's been years since the fire, so I'm sure it's back up to what it was. But I also believe he lost a lot of things that you just can't find
Yeah.
anymore.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
About a one-on-one.
I mean,
Pete Rock has a massive.
Questlove one time
collection.
told me he was holding 10,000 pieces of vinyl.
Quest is.
Quest.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. Pete Rock, Just, like I said, Just has a huge collection, like Large Professor. They like it's like fun for them.
Yeah.
No
It's
idea.
fun. Yeah, No Idea. A lot of those guys, it's fun. They go to the store and they're like, yo.
I should sell records
You know?
to a few of those guys, including No ID. Fun fact. Damn, it's gonna give me away too. But I sold a collection of about 7,000 to Dr. Dre.
Wow.
That motherfucker, next level.
Oh, I'm sure.
Warehouse.
I'm sure.
A warehouse. Full.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
What? Did you just magic fingers us?
So Miguel, let me ask you something. What was the
price tag?
The range of
No,
that $7,000?
we don't go in nobody's wallet.
I'm not trying to go in his wallet. I just said give me a range.
No, we don't go in nobody's wallet.
No numbers.
Oh, you know who?
We don't go in nobody's wallet.
You know
What
the
was
guy.
the range of records?
Che. So did that whole. That's when he was with him.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the one that sorted that whole thing
Put it all
out.
together.
Big record collector, great music guy, very much like Sledge. Super great ears. He's with Kanye now, the ear guy,
Yeah.
the music guy. There's always a
Che
guy like
Pope.
yeah. There's always a guy like him in the background.
Right.
For the good ones, for the great ones,
Right.
they always got a guy like him around. You always look around. Oh, there goes the guy. There he goes.
How do you
He's always
become
in the
that
back
guy?
of the room.
He's telling you, clubs when you're really young, music.
Yeah.
That guy.
Living it. Literally living it.
Living it. There's all,
living
this is the thing, though. To me, I found in the music industry, like, there's a couple things, right? There's a conversation going on about diversity.
Mm-hmm. Lack of black executives.
Correct. So, like, I have a theory. I think, like, you know, when motherfuckers hit a certain age in the music industry, specifically black people, it's kind of like, all right, man, we need a new hot nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A hot new A&R nigga. And it's like, you know, I just said the great ones, like Chapo, they're around, right? But they just not in the building. Coach K, not in the building.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's weird, man. The way they just like, yo, come on. We need
Yeah,
a hot nigga.
you're right. That really happens mostly on the black side, because there's A&R guys on the white side that'll be like 60 years old.
Yes.
They're still working,
Right.
and not threatened to be kicked out.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
just doing their thing,
Right.
Right. But like you said, on our side, it's like, who's the hot young 22-year-old dude? It's like,
Right.
and again, I want everybody to get a shot. I'm not trying to block anybody from getting a shot, but I think there's been a lot of people over the years that had value that got their knees cut early just because of ageism, really.
That's kind of why I asked you about who from those meetings at Jive is still here
Yeah.
today. It's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you. And to that point, you know, we talk about diversity. Man, we need more black accents, all this shit. Like, but you know, especially now, there's bidding wars for these young kids now, and when you go into a label, my nigga, you're looking for that bag. I get it, but like when you walk in and you and your manager walk in and you look around and you don't see him,
And you don't see Sledge.
you don't see Sledge, you're looking around like, nah, my nigga, like what's I need people that look like me in here, right? So that's the only way it's gonna change if the artists control that. You control that. They're never gonna say, yo, we need to hire more black executives. Yo, chill out with him, he's good. They're never gonna do that. The only way that's going to change if it changes from the artist side. It's never gonna change when niggas be like, yo, you need to hire. It's never gonna happen.
Well, the artist has to be informed and versed.
Exactly.
And have the
care.
knowledge base to understand when they walk in those rooms, what is an identifier for them.
Yeah, some leverage.
And when
Right.
and if
they have the leverage.
and if they don't see it, have the balls say, yo,
they
what is
have
this?
the leverage.
Like, I don't want
The
to
artist
have
has
the
the leverage,
leverage.
but the artist doesn't realize it. Artist doesn't-
100%. That's what I'm saying. So
because it's bag
all
first.
these
Bag first.
I
Right.
love the piece
Right.
that I forgot the magazine. They did a whole piece with Diddy. It was brilliant. And I, was it? No, it wasn't GQ.
Variety.
It was great. He had a lot of great things to say. Doesn't matter. This is like a family-owned business, the music industry. It's like fucking like Hennessy. Niggas drink Hennessy by the gallon. I don't know who the fucking C-level executives at Hennessy are, but I could guarantee you they don't look like me. I could bet money.
Yeah.
They don't, right? It's the same thing in the music industry. It's the same thing. They don't have to hire black people. They don't have to. Well, fuck you. They're gonna come here anyway.
Yeah.
But if the artists start shifting, everything changes. The power is with the creatives now.
I think we need more artists that care
Right.
about that.
Right.
You know, it's not something that they're even
Thinking about it. Everybody's trying to
Thinking
get the
about,
bag,
right?
and I get that.
Because the artists are now coming in, and they're taking the lead now from the artists that are, very successful, like a Drake or a Kendrick
Right.
or something like that. And those guys are amazing. And the difference is those guys, like you said, they have their own squad.
Right.
So, you know, Drake has like Future and Oliver and all those guys, and then Kendrick obviously has TDE. So like those guys are good anyway because they're eating and stuff. So those guys don't even want to be in the building. Exactly. They're not even interested in the job. I'm positive that those guys around, you know, like I said, like Drake and like Kendrick and like I'm sure Coach gets calls a lot, and you know, and Anthony that works with Future and Nas, like these guys, but they get calls to be executives, and they're like, I'm Gucci.
I'll have you considered that those calls don't come in.
I promise you they do. I promise you they do. I promise you they do. But those guys, but with that job comes a lot that they don't. I'm talking shit because I don't know, but I would suspect that in some cases.
What do you mean you don't know? You absolutely.
No, what I'm saying is I don't know what those guys think. I don't want to speak for them.
Right.
But a lot of people don't want to deal with the other stuff because you're not, because if you're doing it from the way they're doing, as an example, they're building their own company, they're employing, you know, people that they want to employ, they're, you know, getting their own publishing, they're doing all the things. Now you go inside, now I got to deal with budget meetings, and I got a boss. No matter how high up I am, somebody I still have to go to and say, can I blase? Right. Those guys don't have to say, can I blase anybody. So I think that's what's happened. Like that kind of, it spawned from kind of like the drug dealers entering the music business, that energy, and you know, with them trying to like wash their money and trying to get it cracking, to now guys understanding I can use this record company to make myself a legitimate business and be my own boss. I still have the entrepreneurial mentality, and I don't have to go to, you know, a CEO of Universal, CEO of Atlantic, and ask for anything. They don't have to ask for nothing. Right. Like, you know, Coach don't have to go and ask Steve Barnett, I think is the guy who runs Capitol, to make a Migos album. Or Steve, do you like this single? No, this is the single, B. Black and Bad and Bougie. This is it. We shot the video in Africa. We're coming out in 2 weeks. Tell your squad to catch up. So that's what's happened. Those guys don't want to come in. I think a lot of those guys don't want to come inside because it comes with a lot of shit.
Well, okay. Can I ask you a question? What was the name of my man who was living in Atlanta, music exec? Young black guy committed suicide.
Shakir Stewart.
Well, Shakir wasn't the only one, right? There was a guy at Universal, the promo guy.
But the pressure that comes from being inside.
The higher up the ladder you go, the more pressure you have. Because let me tell you the for lack of a better term, the trick bag to it. And it's not just the music business. It happens in corporate America too. So what happens is this is just a black man conversation at this point, right? So what happens is you come in the music business.
No, very well. You can
no. You don't have to leave the room. Very well. Yeah. But I'm saying, so I'm using the music business example because that's what I do, right? So you come in the music business, you know, like I said, you know, I'm making no money, I'm getting it cracking, You know, God bless, I get a promotion and I get another promotion and maybe I hit a little lick and I sign ours and all of a sudden like I'm a hot guy, right? Mm-hmm. So now what do we do? You move to Jersey.
Alpine.
Get to Alpine, Inglewood, Teaneck, Hackensack, Fort Lee. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Overlooking the bridge.
Oh, yep.
Gotta have that. Gotta have the skyline view.
Yep. Shouts to Just Blaze. Shouts to Just Blaze.
You get 2 cars.
You get a Tesla in the family joint.
You get the hotness and you get the Jeep for the winter.
Yeah.
You get something for wifey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you and wifey's like gonna take this thing because now you're doing your thing. You're traveling. You and wifey link up. You have a child or 2. God bless. You have a little family. Right. You're living good. So now
couch, that $5,000 couch.
Exactly. You know the 60-inch TV in the bedroom, you lit, right? So now you up here. Now the kids is in private school, the car payments is booming, and life is Gucci. But now you can't be wildin'. Because if you wild out and do something to go against the grain or go hard, you might lose this spot.
Yeah. And
that's when you get squeezed. Because now it's like, we want you to blase. And in your gut, it's like, I don't want to fuck my mans and them over like that, or I don't want to be a shaky guy like that, or I don't want to do this thing or whatever. But you've achieved this lifestyle that you're probably more than likely one of the first people in your family to achieve.
Yes.
And you don't want to lose it. And that's when all that pressure comes because you can't walk away. And that happens to a lot of us. on the inside. That pressure of maintaining that thing is it's a lot, and then you have to start doing things that your gut and your heart might tell you is not the right thing to do, but it's like, yeah, but damn, little TJ's in 5th grade and he loves his daggone private school. I'm gonna take him out of this, and I'm sending him to summer camp this summer, $3,000 sleepaway summer. Like I can't, and that's where the pressure comes. So that happens a lot in the music business because it's a lot of fast money. It's a lot of fast living. You in LA, you stay in the 4 Seasons. You might end up jumping on a PJ with this guy. Like you're living a really fast lifestyle. But then again,
to end up at Trader Joe's bagging groceries,
I would just think
too hard body.
Shout out to Gary Owens.
Jeffrey Owens.
Jeffrey, yes.
Yeah.
Yo, but
Gary Owens too. I know that.
But God bless Jeffrey Owens, man. He's earning
100%.
Earning an honest living.
Absolutely.
Bro,
I like Trader Joe's.
Right on the head.
I like Trader Joe's
is great.
You cannot afford when you are a black executive. It's different rules. It's just black anything. It's just different rules, bro. Right? And it's like you start believing this movie. You fall into the matrix, and it's less about who you are. It's what you do. Right, and what you do, and you're kind of like you're very much attached to this thing, right? Your whole self-worth is attached to this thing too, along with what you just described monetarily. But your self-worth, all your friends, everybody is in the music industry. Little TJ's baby shower, who's there? The promo guy, this guy. There's no one. You don't have like real.
Nobody from around the way.
Exactly.
You have a separate one from the around the way.
Exactly. You turned into this thing. And
no, but you're not trying to get voted off the island.
Exactly. You turned into what people call, like the industry dude thing, right? And it's you watch it a lot, and it happens a lot. And when the inevitable happens, your phone stops ringing. Right, people's out fucking with you, and you're just out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can't remember the brother's name, but he ended up committing suicide as well. And it was kind of like he spiraled out of control when that shit just left. He was
you talking about Garnett?
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of like they clipped him.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, everything I had was this. And I get pushed out. What the fuck happened? My friends, they're not, like he's a promo guy. He started a little promo company. You got budgets, my nigga. What's good? I need to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
And it's all gone, bro. That shit is fucking crazy. And you don't see it happening on the other side. You just don't see it happening.
Because I think the science behind that is like a lot of the powers that be know that in a lot of our cases, this is our first go around with any type of real, capital and being able to really live somewhere really nice. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but in a lot of cases they know that, so they know that I can use that to kind of get this person to go this way or that way.
With that job, you guys have really sold it to anybody listening who's aspiring to be a music
I just want people to know that I want people to do what they want to do and do it to the best of their ability. I'm not trying to. No. I'm not saying I'm not putting this on you. I'm just saying in general. I'm not trying to tell all these things to run anybody away. I'm just saying to understand that there's two sides to the situation and understand yes, it's cool that you get might have a nice car and all this and a nice crib, and that's great. But there's other things that come along with that.
Right.
True. That's all. Right. That's all.
And you know what it is too? It's sedation. That's the problem with us. We can't afford to be sedated. We can't. I don't give a fuck what you do. Right? You could be working at fucking. What's my man working? Trader Joe's. You can't afford to be sedated. You have to weaponize your mind, your pockets, your body. Right? If you're a black man in America, that's
manage your expectations.
Exactly, and manage your money, bro.
Well, what you've always said is live below your means.
Niggas don't want to listen, but I live way below. When you live with you're a revolutionary.
But see, the thing is, Haitian Miguel, you living below your means. People should understand. You're Haitian Miguel. You come from a place where niggas eat mud pie.
Well, look at his wrist.
like if you are actually eating actual food,
I could tell you. I've been doing this since we were in high school. buying and selling watches and finding good deals on watches. I just told you I was selling break beats, right? I was selling break beats. I was what he was doing.
You give me a good deal on one of those?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But like, I could get good deals. I find good deals. Listen, I could find good deals. Not only that, but I also have 4 fucking 5, 6 streams of income. Right? I don't care if it's $200, $300 a month. I'm going to fucking find additional streams of income because I'll be goddamn if I'm going to be sitting there like, you walk with confidence. You weaponize your pockets. It's different. It's a different conversation. Yeah. And I'll have you consider that you're a better employee for your main employer when you walk in with confidence because you take chances. Sledge just mentioned, you like, damn, I don't even know because you're sedated. You're a pussy now because you got this 3 cars, you got this, and you don't want to sign things. You don't want to take chances on things.
But wait, so wait, the pressure that you guys talk about, the way it sounds is like it's an internal pressure because you don't want to shit on the people, like
you don't
your
want
own
to take
integrity,
chances,
right? So but is there an outside pressure where they're asking you to do more than they would ask?
The higher you go up the ladder in any job, no matter what it is. Like I said, I'm just talking music because that's what I do. But if I was working at, Morgan Stanley, I'm sure they got the same story because they're playing with even way more money and higher stakes. So the black people or the brown people or the people of color or whatever in those positions, they got pressure too. It's like, yo, you gotta, whatever they're doing, you gotta get it cracking. I'm not paying you, $700,000 a year to not get it cracking, or $1 million or whatever those guys make. I've heard stockbrokers say you only made like $3 million last year. I only made I'm trash
because they're blowing through it. Those guys blow money like I've never seen blowing.
Literally. So like
literally,
this. So it's like it's pressures everywhere, but in the music, it is. It's pressures from all sides.
I love watching it though. Like I love when you. It's horrible to say, but I love to watch people get lost.
Asshole.
You do?
Yeah, I love to watch it because you're watching someone just fucking go into the matrix. Like, oh shit!
That was just as
I remember this guy, and I was just kind of like, you're gone.
Yeah.
And you just watch it like, all right, cool. Like, it's a weird thing too because there are hierarchies, and I keep coming back to the breakbeat thing though because I remember when I was doing that, and I was making excellent money doing that. But the guys at the record labels that had industry jobs looked at me like I was a piece of shit.
Like you're a bum.
Because I was making more money than they were.
I love when I get to sell like a pair of sneakers or a polo shirt to an industry cat, and I come meet them at their job, or I come meet them at a Starbucks, whatever, and they're like, Dallas Payne, you fucking bum. And I'm like, yo, I'll take that $20, that $40, that $50, because I got a mortgage to pay.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Thank you, though.
I've had that conversation about Dallas from guys that have copped from him. Like, he walks away, whatever, right? 2 days, 3 days. I'm like, you realize this guy has like a real life, right?
Yeah.
Like, and consider this, like his real life, probably bigger than your life.
Hey, God bless him, man.
This guy's a fucking beast. I love him.
Just from a projects built dollar standpoint, yes, definitely.
Yo, no. These are people I know, so I know their circumstances, right? So I'm like, all right. So we get to the Dallas thing because I like to lob it because I know what's going to happen.
See what the response is.
Yeah, the response is always.
Yeah.
Haitian Miguel, listen.
He's such a fucking
I've come to realize that Haitian Miguel,
but in real life,
likes to fish. He likes to fish for the mixy shit.
Yes, but in real life,
is King Mixy in real life, yo.
So like
it's face to face.
Exactly. You know how like there's internet trolls, like the people out there.
No, he does it in real life.
He does that shit to see
your
face. Like he wants to see your face.
Wants to see your reaction.
He doesn't want you to type.
But that shit doesn't happen.
Okay,
hold on a second. Let's clear that up for a second. Like it's not 10,000 motherfuckers buying sneakers from this guy. Right. It's 1 or 2 guys that I happen to know really well that I could be like, oh, cool.
Troll.
This nigga.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're the one.
Yeah, you're the one. I've seen him.
Dallas Penn.
So now we talked about Jive Records, and then as you transition out of Jive Records, who was one? I think Mickey Fax was one of your last signings.
Yeah, so I went to because I signed Murray, and we made the most beautifulest. We had a good time. We had a great time with that, and we did some more Fushniga stuff and some UGK stuff, and then I left Jive and went to Epic.
Okay.
And I went to Epic in the mid-90s, and I did the first Ghostface album, Iron Man.
Shit, forget the Mickey Fact shit. What up, Mickey?
So I did that.
Mickey,
well, now we
talk about that.
This is part 2 of the Jeff Sledge.
That was
man.
And that was fun working with Ghost and RZA and Ray. Ray actually, Raekwon, God bless him, man. He was as much an A&R person as me. Like, he was there for everything. Everything, every studio session and mix session. Like Ray would be there and Ghost wouldn't.
Wow.
Ray, we got to this R&B, and he would be there, man.
Which album was this for Ray?
Purple Tape was out because Purple Tape was out.
Yeah,
because Ghost came 96, Purple was 94, right?
Yeah, something like that. That was like the real introduction.
Purple would have been 94,
95, yeah, and Iron Man was 96. Yeah, so that, I mean, Woo was like bananas.
Yes.
That was Carbon. Carbon was the
and this is at the same time as, just to give you guys context, Biggie.
Yeah.
West Coast.
Yeah. All that was going on. So
at the same time.
Yeah, so we did that, and then I got to work with a little bit of R&B stuff there too. Like I worked a little bit with Luther, which was really interesting because obviously he's a genius. And then I left Epic and came back.
The energy, going from like hip hop to like.
Well, major label companies were definitely still way more R&B than hip hop.
Less samples to clear.
Yeah. And they were just way more hip hop, R&B artists. There was several hip hop artists on major labels, but it was still an R&B world.
Internet, Luther.
Yeah, Luther.
Luther.
Like going from
honestly, I mean, on a
night and day. It's
on a short list.
Yeah, like
we're talking about Michael Jackson, Prince, Stevie, Aretha, Luther, Pat. We talking about the short list.
Yeah.
Sade.
And you used to listen to him on.
Of course, yeah. Never Too Much and Glow of Love. Yeah, of course. I was like really Google to meet him when I met him.
What hit did you give him through that project? Dance with My Father?
Dance with My Father.
No. It wasn't. Oh my God, it was 20-some years ago. I can't remember the name. It wasn't the Dance with My Father album. That album was on. Was that album on Arista? No. This was He was still heavy at this time.
Heavy and weight.
Heavy Set. No, I can't remember.
When he's at his
I'm sorry. If I saw the album cover, I could tell you. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Rest in peace, Heavy.
And then I went back to Jive, and then started working heavy with E40 and Too Short.
Jesus Christ.
And
hits.
Yeah, so we did Blow the Whistle and Shake That Monkey and all that stuff with Short. And then Akinelli, you mentioned Akinelli. I worked with Akinelli.
Which, the first album?
Bonkers. No, he was on Jive. Ak was crazy. That stuff never came out. We shot a movie, and then Ak did the Ak shit. I love Ak, but he was bonkers. He's crazy guy. Yeah, he's crazy. I love him, but he's crazy. He's like legit. He's nuts. So worked with him, worked with them, and then we transitioned into working at Jive started a little label called Battery, and on Battery we worked with I signed Mickey Fax to Battery, and I signed the Stanky Leg record. That's when like all those records was popping like that, and
Baby,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
So you was responsible. You was responsible for all the other discuss.
Yeah, I was.
That came.
I got
Mickey Fax and that record. That juxtaposition.
But again, that kind of.
wild.
I mean, looping it all the way backwards. That goes back to like I was saying. Like that to me, that goes all the way back to Frankie Crocker, and being able to like all kinds of things.
Right.
And also, what I tell people a lot, the gift of working at Jive was none of our artists, and this is one of the things I think why I've been able to become a dinosaur. None of our artists, very few of our artists were based in New York. Very few.
Right.
It was Tribe, it was Chris, it was Murray when I bought him. Fooch niggas, but a lot of our artists were in other cities. Mystical was in New Orleans, UGK was in Texas, Hieroglyphics and Too Short, those guys was in the Bay. So like I would always, R. Kelly was in Chicago, so I would always travel. So it opened my scope as well, because I would be able to go to Texas and hear like Screw tapes and hear like some of that stuff, the Houston Chopped and Screwed and all that. And I'd come back to New York and be like, yo, they got this thing in Houston called like Chopped and Screwed, and they got this thing where they raise the roof. Like that comes from that raised roof actually thing comes from the hood. People don't realize that. Well, what happened was people would put a screw tape in and drive in their old school cars. And when something was knocking, they would bang the roof of the car. And that's where that comes from. That's why the Dallas Cowboys started that. because there was a Texas thing.
From our
Texas
culture.
thing.
You see what I'm saying?
So I would
man?
see all these different things. So it opened and broadened my scope. So that's why I could do Mickey Fax and Stanky Leg, and I also signed Looking Boy. These Looking Boy.
I think Mickey Fax was a dud.
Because I could listen. I listen to everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think about.
What you say about Mickey?
Nah, listen.
I think about R. Kelly.
Did but that.
And I think about how when I first heard R. Kelly, I was like, listen to this fake ass. When you first heard R. Kelly, you like listen to this fake ass Aaron Hall.
Everybody said that.
And now I'm like, you hear Aaron Hall, you be like, shut the fuck up, you fake ass R. Kelly.
I was doing promotions when Robert first came out. And I was I was in the tri-state area, so I would take all the records to radio here, and I would get killed because Aaron was hot. Guy was hot. He was from New York.
Yeah, of course.
So everybody would be like, "Man, this fake ass Aaron Hall, man." I remember
pen.
They were killing me, killing me. Then Honey Love came out. Because the first one, Vibe came out and they killed me. They was like, "We're not playing that. You're ridiculous. This nigga sounds like Aaron." Then Honey Love came out and they were like, "He's selling Aaron, but this is a good record. We're gonna give it a few spins." And then the third one was... What was the third one was big?
Was that when we dropped the public announcement?
Yeah, it was on the 12th announcement. It was Honey Love, and it was another ballad that came after that. It's been so long, I'm blanking out. No, that was way later. Can you look that up? Just the first, Born Into the Night. Whatever the third single was a big ballad. As soon as he look it up, you're going to remember it. And then that's when they were like...
Sledge, you were at radio stations with him around the country?
Yeah, I took Robert. I took Robert on radio.
You were around when he was doing some of this weird stuff.
Well, you know, what weird stuff do you speak of? Click that Born Into the Night.
How old is Teenage?
Which one?
All of us saying this is not the confirmation hearing of Justice Matt Kavanaugh. All right, we do not. We don't
act like
want
this
to
shit
implicate.
just started yesterday.
Slow Dance. Slow Dance and Dedicated. Those are the other ones that like.
Oh, Slow Dance.
Slow Dance and Dedicated. Yeah. But anyway, yes, I took Robert around the radio. I took a lot of people around the radio.
It's his pen.
And
this is part the pen and his production to me is just like that.
Yeah, I knew he was dope, but I knew who his pen was. I got a confirmation. I remember I took on the radio on this first album. We went up to BLS, and just so happened Gamble and Huff were interviewing while we were there. So they were coming out. It was with Vaughn Harper. So they're coming out,
R.I.P.
And I introduced. I didn't know him. I was like, "Oh my God, it's Gamble and Huff." I was like, "Oh, Gamble and Huff. This is R. Kelly. He's got this Honey Love record out." Blah, blah, blah. And I remember Kenny was like, "Honey Love, yeah, that's a good record, man. You can write." And that's how I was like, "Oh, this guy's he just got blessed by Kenny Gamble." And then but Robert's the most talented artist I've ever been around. Him and Chris Brown, just because they can do anything.
Okay.
He could rap, he could sing, he could dance. He's funny. He could draw.
Play ball.
They could do anything. Yeah. They could do anything.
He's a savant.
He is a savant. Seriously.
Chris Brown.
Chris too, but Robert is because Robert don't write. Yeah, Robert draws a little bit too. Robert don't. He can barely write. So he would have a dictaphone around his neck. Wow. And that's how he would. That's how he would write records. He would hum into the dictaphone.
What?
Pause. That's what they actually record though.
I mean, listen.
That's actually the technical.
I mean, listen.
But still pause.
There's a reason why you put the dictaphone close to your mouth. Come on, we all.
Internet.
We know this.
Pause on that.
Yes.
Christ.
It was egregious, and we ride with it. But again,
this is a fucking seasoned music industry fucking veteran, bro. Relax,
that
my
might be a
nigga.
new way to do the podcast with a dictaphone.
Pause.
Like you out on the subway.
Thank you.
Guys are playing fucking games. We got a professional in the room, man.
But then hold on. Then here's what we need. Then we need to talk about surviving the earthquake. We need to talk about surviving the.
Let me. Well, I could kind of go to that, which is the point that I made earlier.
And there's another transition, which I think that's part of.
Yeah, but the blessing again, which was me being able to move around the country constantly and see all kind of things, in the Bay. I saw the pack, so I saw the kids thing come in early. So the gift of that was most of my peers that did A&R were New York dudes. And it was only here. And niggas got hot here. Like Irv Gotti was killing it here. And you know, and Rockefeller and was killing. I mean, Puff was bodying it here. Yes. Like these guys are legendary.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But
they don't hear the tsunami.
But a lot of them didn't see. They didn't want to respect that the South in the West, but really the South was coming, because it was like, whatever, man, we popping. Like, what are you
wasn't even thinking about it.
We're not even thinking about it, man. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like I remember bringing Too Short to the tunnel, and like he was nervous because he was like, these niggas ain't gonna like me. They actually did. God bless. They respected him, but like, you got DMX, you got Hove, you got Mobb Deep, and
Tunnel was like, bitch,
monstrous, Busta. It was craziness, right? So it's like you don't see it coming. You don't see it coming, and then here comes the South, and I remember playing records for people, and they were like, "You like this? You like Outkast? It's just whack." I've had so many arguments with people about that first Goody Mob album, Soul Food. It was like, this is trash. I was like, this is amazing.
Write their fucking names down.
Yeah, but this is 95, and New York is on. But this is 95, and New York is on fire.
Would
so
you say,
no.
Dallas? Let me ask y'all. Would y'all say that this what you're saying right here is a microcosm of what happened at the Source Awards? That was what, 95?
94, 5.
I think what Dallas is looking for is when the industry went to shit.
Well, that's what we're building up to. Okay, I want when the industry went to shit. But again, we're getting there.
Right. Well, what happened?
We're getting there.
Well, the smaller of the bigger piece of it was, again, so the South comes, right? Now, this is the difference between the South and New York. And even some of the West Coast dudes, was definitely the South. In New York, to this day even, everybody in this room, I'm sure, knows somebody who works at a label or somebody who knows somebody that works at a label. You can get into a building, get a meeting in the next few days if you really want to press it, right? So in New York, it became the end game became to get a deal. Like, yo, King Rhyme, yo, I'm gonna manage you. My man worked down at Def Jam. We're gonna go and we're gonna get signed. And we're gonna get you a deal. The South, they had no labels, so they created their own. So the South was never trying to get a deal. They were just putting out music. So people came to them. And the South realized they're coming to us. So we have leverage. So I want $10 million and a joint venture with you. And da-da-da-da. And I'm going to keep my own publishing. Da-da-da. And that's what really, to me, that's what really shifted the music, because the music became, these entrepreneurs in the South started running things while the New York guys were signed to labels. So now we got to wait for our budget. And we got to wait for you to go to radio, and we gotta wait for you to help put me with that producer, and we gotta wait for you to call
that cultural shift really is still in place today, like we said earlier, where people don't want a boss because I've become my own boss.
And now is
with No Limit Records, with Cash Money Records, I've become my own boss.
And it's not a regional thing now. I think that's the attitude all across the globe.
Well, the internet has allowed things to de-regionalize.
Right.
Yeah. Things to become worldwide.
Yeah. So, but let me ask you a question, because I want to answer your question. When you say the shift and when things went to shit, what do you mean specifically by that?
I'm really looking at the digitization
2000s
of music. Yeah, so I'm really looking at. I want to say 2000, between 2003. Well, listen, the fall of the World Trade Center, 2001 to 2005. Inside that window.
Was it a fall or was it just a transition?
Dude, it was a crash.
Evolution of music.
That's T-shirts.
What happened there was I'll tell you, it's a very simple, to me, I've always made that a very simple explanation. When the labels found out what Napster was, what the labels should have done was called Sean Fanning and said, we're flying you in tomorrow. I want you to sit down and explain to us what this is and how you did this. What the labels did instead was trying to kill Sean Fanning and Napster. But the thing about technology is it's just like the whack-a-mole at the thing. Once it comes up, you can knock it down over here, it's going to pop up over here. It's always going to come out somewhere. Pause again, but it's always just going to keep.
Been worse.
It could have been worse. But, so it's always going to. You can't kill it, and that's what happened. So when kids started to realize I can go on Napster, and then all of us went on LimeWire and started. And when we realized, I'm gonna start doing my LimeWire is the precursor to Spotify. Yeah. We went on there, found records we made CDs instead of a playlist. Kazaa, that was just all that was the precursor to where we are now. If the labels have caught up,
now we got
because the labels got have gotten.
Well, the labels are machines, so they can play catch up. Ultimately,
but to me, that's when things went to shit because there was that stretch, like you said, maybe like 2000, 2001, 2005, where labels couldn't figure out this new technology, and all the young kids
because up until that point,
getting music for free.
Up until that point, Sledge, the labels control the technology. When we went from a cassette tape to a CD, the labels control that.
Yeah.
When we went
told you we're going to stop making these, and we're going to start making these, and these actually are more expensive. And what you going to do about it?
Right. Yeah. But you get the convenience now of skipping over the blah blah blah, whatever,
playing the same song 20 times or whatever.
But this is again, we have it under control. Yeah. And
Sean Fanning, he blew all that up. Napster blew all that up. And to me, that was a huge mistake.
Where are you at that time, though?
I'm at Jive still, and I'm and wait, was that? Yeah, I'm at Jive. Wait, was that Jive or was that Epic when Napster first came?
Napster's out in 98.
Napster's
out in 97, 98.
I'm just talking about the implosion, like when it like.
Oh, I'm back at Jive at this point.
Okay, so you went back to Jive.
Yeah, I went back to Jive. Okay. Yeah, I went back to Jive at this point. But Jive, we didn't get affected by it as a lot of other labels because by that point Jive had transitioned. We still had Short and Foy and those guys. We had transitioned to the pop thing. So that's when Jive had
the boy bands,
Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears.
Right.
So we were doing that.
Right.
So money was raining from the sky because we do selling 15 million albums. Like it was nuts.
Right.
So Jive had decided to go pop.
Right.
So that because thinking about a boy band or something, or a pop girl or whatever, like kids buy into the whole thing.
Yes,
they want everything. They want the T-shirt. They want the poster.
And there was publishing involved as well.
Publishing and the merch selling was crazy. Yeah. And then of course they're going to buy the tickets to go to the show.
Right.
So that was a whole different. That's how Jive
that was 360 before you called it 360.
Yeah, but no, we weren't 360.
But I'm saying Jive wasn't producing the merch.
Jive was producing the merch.
Okay.
Yeah, Jive was producing.
Okay. So we didn't call it 360 then, but it was,
Yeah.
And that was they had.
Get your hand out my wallet.
And they had the publishing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. Okay.
Did you work with clips at Jive at all?
A little bit. The clips thing at Jive was weird because they came over when that was another thing that Jive got a boost in. Arista folded, and we got all the LaFace acts. Mm-hmm. So we got Usher, we got the Clips, we got Sierra, we got Anthony Hamilton, we got Outkast.
Was TLC still there? TLC was still?
TLC was
You got Jimmy Cozier?
Okay. Not Jimmy was gone. Jimmy was on J Records.
Oh yeah, I thought
Jimmy was on J Records. But the Clips thing was weird because, they came over and, they didn't really know us. We didn't even know them. Yeah. We weren't really the most hip hop label at the time anymore.
Right.
And they was definitely still like the super keep it real guys and stuff. They're nice guys though. I like that personally. Like I like Pusha and I like Malice a lot. They're like good people, but the marriage between the labels didn't really work as much as I wish it could have. But and then when they did Mr. Me Too, they talked about people at Jive and that pissed off a lot of people. So. Right. It's a good record, though. I can't front.
So you fucking rode that shit through.
Yeah, because our company was doing well because we had done other things. We weren't stuck in one wave.
Got it.
We kind of.
But also the thing was they were right. You weren't stuck simply in the music.
Genre. Yeah. We're doing a lot of other things.
You had already figured out those boy bands were selling so many records, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. And like I said, it was income from merch and touring.
And right,
and girls
understanding
were
lifestyle
on LimeWire. 12-year-old girls that they were selling the records to at Jive weren't.
Yeah, like I said, LimeWire was Spotify.
Remember, you had LimeWire, Kazaa,
Kazaa,
Napster,
and then you also, along with that, this is the birth of MySpace, and then you had Apple. Yo, not Apple. What's that? AOL, the chat room.
Yeah, the forums.
And so AIM.
Everybody,
AIM.
And that was like the underground, like, yo, I'm putting you on to new music. Like we got on the bubble. Like, yo, this is what's happening.
MySpace is basically, to me, what it kind of morphed into SoundCloud. It's kind of, that's where you go to find new music. So
it's headed to that.
More personal.
Headed to the same ending.
I think where it ends, we're going to start right back at MySpace. Top 8s. I would love that.
I'm actually surprised. I mean, I know that guy made a grip and he's just traveling the world and loving his life. But I'm surprised, like, MySpace could really work because MySpace combines everything. Yeah. It's a little Spotify, it's a little Twitter, it's a little Tumblr. It's everything mixed together.
They tried to relaunch it. It
didn't really catch. Yeah. No, what they should do is relaunch it. They should try to relaunch it with like all those old pages. Like, but you could go to Drake's old page from 2011.
Not today.
That's why he gets the big bucks, ladies and gentlemen.
You know how many people are.
I just gave away an idea, right?
Let's get Black Planet back on then.
Hello.
You know?
Yo, MySpace taught us all how to code.
Yeah.
We ain't going
to you didn't even realize.
We need mi gente back.
Taught us that bootleg HTML. Yeah, for sure.
We need mi gente back. UBO.
Mi gente. Oh my God.
Urban Box Online. Office.
Yeah.
That
the
is,
best parties ever.
That is. So I mean, you really showed us what the cheat code had been for you, and that was not being centralized inside the city. So and getting out of the city
and moving around and just having your mind open to other things, man. It's like music. Obviously, music comes from all over the place, and just because a dude is from, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that don't mean like a Lil Boosie is whack. It's just like that. He's not whack. He's actually a really great artist. It's just that his thing it's not New York, but it doesn't mean it's not good. And too many guys here, but just like if it ain't from the tri-state area, I'm not dealing with it. And meanwhile, all these other things was happening all over the place, and nobody wanted to pay attention until it was too late.
Dig it.
Wow. South got something to say.
Yeah.
and so now you're at Epic. What is your transition from Epic looking like?
When I went back to Jive?
Well, I'm sorry, transition from Jive, second run at Jive.
Oh, okay. So Jive actually, they shut Jive down. I don't want to say Jive folded because it didn't fold because it was in the black. There was a lot of political things happening, and so they actually, Sony actually shut Jive down.
Who was the parent? Sony? Sony was the parent?
Sony, yeah. Okay. So Sony actually shut Jive down in 2011. And so, we kind of were caught off guard because like we had gotten bonus checks like a few months ago. We were doing great. It wasn't the finances at all. It was just some other stuff going on that caused them to shut it down. So
white people,
you know what I'm saying? So
crackers at Jive.
I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, well, no comment. So I started consulting for a while, and I consulted at Def Jam for a while because Barry Whiteside went over to Universal. So I worked with him for a bit, and then in 2015, I interviewed and got a job where I work now at Atlantic Records.
Dig it.
So the transition
Craig
was
Kelman, Music Man.
Yeah, definitely a music man. So the transition was 3-4 years of the consulting and trying to figure it out, and I started a podcast, which I still do, and like
what's the name of your
podcast? The Pop Life podcast. Yes, I was just doing all kind of stuff, and actually like being on the outside, it actually sharpened me because it made me kind of become a consumer again. Like I was listening, and I was on. At that time SoundCloud was popping, and like the 12 to maybe 14 it wasn't really kicked. I was on that all the time, like looking at music and on Tumblr and like constantly like looking at stuff as if I was just a
fan. You tell me
I was a fan.
You fucks with Tumblr now. I thought Tumblr had lost its viability as a platform. You tell me no.
Tumblr's dope.
It depends on what you're looking for too, because there's variety.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Tumblr, but there's some really good Tumblr pages. There's some people out there that really like
curate
their stuff. Some it's real funny. Some of it's they got the kind of more introspective. Whatever you want to do, they have.
A lot of girls.
Yeah, a lot of skin.
Oh, back pages.
There's a lot of that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. God.
That's where the porn is going to Tumblr.
Really?
Of course, you still got Pornhub and but like those big ones, but like a lot of porn is on Tumblr.
X videos.
Allegedly, Jeff.
Allegedly.
You don't actually know because you don't consume that.
No.
Right.
I heard.
Yes.
One of the little kids in the office was telling me about it.
Yo, so today,
hot guys.
Today there's a obviously a big push towards in A&R. Not obviously. Again, sorry. Analytics versus gut instincts.
Yeah.
What you've been talking about.
Just having that conversation today.
Yeah.
Numbers matter because you know numbers are numbers. It's kind of black and white. You know you can play with them and fudge them, but numbers are numbers. So I don't discount numbers, but I still like to be able to. I want to like something.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes, a lot of times, the stuff that I like, and other A&R people do, it's like just me. It might not have the numbers, but that don't mean it's not dope. Maybe that kid just don't know how to do it.
That's the thing, right?
And you could buy those numbers.
And sometimes you see these numbers, you know, because we have a person and a couple people in the building who, you know, go over analytics, a research department, and they send us stuff like, this is really researching. Just check this out and check that out, and we listen to stuff. And a lot of times you listen to stuff and you see the numbers, and numbers are crazy, but the music isn't really. It's like this isn't really dope. So so it's kind of like you still have to kind of, for me, if you're gonna be an A&R person, like just. If you can find something with some numbers, that's great. But more importantly, find something that you really like, and that you feel, and that's because that's something. If you get to sign it, you're gonna work with that person or those people, and you want to be able to at least be a fan of theirs and really love the music, as opposed to like
get excited for the numbers. Get excited for the music. Don't get excited for the numbers.
No, because like I said, everything that I've worked on, maybe it's a couple of small exceptions. Everything I worked on, for the most part, I really like. Like people like, I'll go back. People's like, you really like that Stank Leg record? I was like, yeah, I really like the record. It's a dope ass song. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't just do it.
But it became a household dance.
Yeah, but I really liked the record.
Did you do the dance, Sledge?
No.
Okay.
But
Lies.
I might have did it once or twice. I ain't gonna lie. But you know what I'm saying? But like I'm saying, like just always try to find something that you really like.
Yeah.
And again, the numbers matter. They're important. You know what I'm saying? And some guys look like this new kid, Juice WRLD. He had big numbers, and Interscope signed him, and he's doing great.
But the thing he had a mini machine to help that.
That's the thing.
A lot of artists.
Thank you.
A lot of artists are talented and dope, and they got great music, and they got the vibe and all that shit. But they don't have
the machinery to take it over the top
because they doing the music and that mini machine. So it's like as an A&R. I feel like you gotta have
numbers,
but you got
no. But I mean, as an A&R, you have to. I will assume you have to find that balance. Like, you're not gonna if he doesn't have the numbers and the music is good and you fuck with it, that shouldn't tarnish your.
That shouldn't stop you from trying to go for it.
Like, hey, you know what? Let's bring him in. Let's see what he's about.
Because there's a lot of people who didn't have the numbers or around hanging around for a minute. Like, perfect example, Logic. SZA was around doing her mixtapes and trying to figure out her sound for a long time, even before TDE picked her up. And then TDE picked her up, but it was just TDE. They didn't have a deal with any major, and they were still letting her develop and figure it out. That was like probably like at least a 4-year span, or maybe even shade more, of her really trying to figure it out and getting. And they moved it around, and she got passed on at several places. You know what I'm saying? Before RCA decided to take a swing. So Logic is another one. I have a little cousin that lives in Maryland. He grew up there, and I remember he's a kid. He's telling me way back, this kid Logic. And I was like, really? Who is this kid? There's all kind of like and somebody else he took a chance. It was the kid over Def Jam. Was it Noah that signed Logic?
Noah,
yeah. Is Noah signed him, right?
Noah
Yeah. So,
not that Noah. No,
another kid named Noah signed him. Not Noah from Complex. Right. A black cat named Noah that No ID brought in. But again, Noah saw something, and so like you gotta feel it and go for it. Most of the people who are successful on the charts now, even Kendrick. I mean, Centric 80, it wasn't like massive. It was people knew about it, but Samaj and he got passed on by several labels too. It's all the Drake. We know the Drake stories. So like you got to really grab something that you feel, man, and go for it. Don't just do it based on numbers only. That's my whole point.
It's very encouraging.
That's my.
It's encouraging.
Theory.
And it's Sledge telling you that.
But a lot of people don't think like me.
Right.
Yeah. Zaytoven tweeted out, I'm not interested in your talent. I got to see some numbers. This is Zaytoven, the guy who plays in church.
He backtracked too, though.
Oh,
well, they always do because he got.
But it's too late. You said that, bro.
But hold on. Yeah. But that's also Zaytoven. I wonder about the multitude of people who,
But you know what, Dallas? The thing about the numbers thing is this, and this is what I think where the kind of the disconnect happens. Okay, again, you have some people who kind of work it and can kind of get those numbers up, right? But then some of the stuff that really has numbers. It has numbers on it. It started small, obviously, so it had to start somewhere, and it grew those numbers basically because a lot of kids like it. You know, a lot of kids like Juice WRLD. They do. As an example,
right?
As an example, and there's some others too. Like a lot of those numbers are based on people like really, liking that music. So that means something's happening there.
Mm-hmm. From a business standpoint, if a kid comes in and he has other numbers that you guys have your team doing research, don't the label lose leverage?
Say it again.
Who has the leverage? If the independent artist is doing all this shit on his own, he has all these numbers. You guys want to come looking for him. He has the leverage, yes?
Yeah, both people have leverage.
So from a business standpoint, wouldn't it be beneficial for you to not look so much for the numbers so the label can retain?
There's a balance.
What you're saying is try to catch somebody early for the development.
Yeah. Like J. Cole, right? So J. Cole, I believe the story is, he got signed without the numbers.
Yeah, but that was pre.
What the fuck is going on?
Right, but he didn't have the leverage at that moment. But then
the leverage he got was he got the Hove co-sign early. That was his leverage. It's like, oh, Jay-Z likes this guy named J. Cole. Like, who is this guy? That was kind of, and then, his first mixtapes actually were really good as well. Friday Night Lights and stuff. But I'm
talking like today's
But most people, I mean, both sides have leverage. The artist has leverage if you have numbers, obviously, because he or she is more than likely out there making money and doing shows and streaming records. So again, having multiple streams of income, maybe they got some merch going. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they got multiple streams of income, so they're doing fine. And then the label obviously has leverage because it's like, okay, you're doing great. But if you want to go from,
but wait till I put the supercharger in.
There you go.
Wait till you get into the V12.
From grossing $700,000 a year, which I'm running a number out, to 17 million, you're gonna need us to push those buttons and push. So both sides
you'll need the machine.
The leverage.
You're gonna need the machine.
There's certain things that only the machine can get you to.
Right. I think like if you're a super dope artist, I think, and you don't have these numbers, you're gonna have to do something to get numbers these days. That's just like it. Like a pure A&R like you. It's not happening.
First of all, I feel like Sledge is the only A&R left.
No,
Dante's around.
No, Dante's around, and we have some good guys on the Atlantic staff too.
I'm saying there's.
Shout out SRD.
There's on two hands.
There's
on two hands.
There's not a lot of people that me and Dante kind of like the last guys left from our era that I can think of. If I'm forgetting somebody, please forgive me. But I think it's me and D are the last ones that come from that.
But Dante's not doing what. God bless him, but he's kind of switched it. He's had to, right?
Yeah, but Dante is like me in that because we talk. He's my guy. He everything he signs he likes. He's still signing something like it might not be what he might have signed 10 years ago, but he likes it. He ain't signing stuff just because of numbers. Like he likes stuff. He still has to really like it.
When we had,
I know you skeptical, but I'm telling you,
it's
he
funny,
really does.
We had him on the Combat Jack show last year, and he said he was involved with Ugly God.
Yeah,
I was like, now knowing the history, I'm like, oh wow, that's where you're at now. So I mean, again. He was definitely like passionate about it.
Yeah.
So about the potential.
So Jeff, if I'm an upcoming artist, or I'm a new artist, got the music, got the talent, don't have the team set up, don't really have a budget in place, but what are the 3 key people that are going to take me from that I can get on my own, that I can acquire on my own without the label, that are going to take me to the next level, so where I can get on the label's radar?
You're dope.
I'm dope. I got 10,000 songs. I can't.
But you got no numbers.
I got no real numbers. I got but I got people around that are wanting to help me. I got manager, quote unquote. I got somebody who knows what wants to run my social account.
You need it. Yeah, you need it. You're gonna need a manager. You're gonna need somebody who's gonna deal with your socials. A lot of times these kids are so young they kind of do that themselves anyway because that's part of their lifestyle. Yeah. And you're gonna hopefully try to find eventually somebody to start helping you book some shows. and start beating the road up, even if you're making no money or like $50 to open for somebody or whatever. Like just to kind of get in front of you got to get in front of people. If you're dope like that, the people will react and it'll start to mushroom. It really will. I know it sounds kind of cheesy and it sounds kind of cliche.
No,
but it will.
That's the thing. It's
like Sheck West put that record out. Like it's a dope record and it blew up because it's a dope ass record. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do a lot. He put the shit out and it got hot because it's hot.
Yeah, I mean, I love that advice, and I don't think there's anything cheesy about it. You know, like it's just work, right? Like that's and there's nothing like cheesy about like, yo, man, look, like your local venue here in New York, it's SOBs, it's classic hip hop venue. What are the hip hop nights? Go there and find out who's booking the shows.
They do undiscovered talent nights and all that.
For anybody, if you call me, I'm on call. Here's my number.
I'm standing out front.
Yeah, you need somebody to 15 minutes.
Shouts to Percy P.
Right? Like that's what it's about, man. Like
shouts to Sav Kills.
And that's where you're gonna practice. So when you go to Highline, you already did your 10,000 hours on that fucking SOB stage, right?
And you get to Sony Hall, you've already, you
already got it popping.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, you ready to open for somebody.
You're ready,
Yeah.
You ready?
Not enough shows.
Not to get tomatoes thrown at you.
But again, see, back to the thing. That's also like that's another reason why the South really took over, because the South has a huge chitlin circuit.
Right.
So there's always guys that get on, Gucci and those guys that get on the road. They'll go from Memphis down to Jackson, Mississippi, the Little Rock. They'll go over to Mobile, Alabama. They'll come up to Atlanta. They'll go to something, South Carolina, and they'll just do that circuit.
We do too, but motherfuckers don't want to do it. They don't want to come, like do all the Boston, because what happens is the SOBs in fucking Boston doesn't want to pay the hot rapper, whatever the hot rapper that's getting, $10,000 in a strip club to do a walkthrough. He doesn't want to do that circuit. He doesn't want to go to a booking agent and do it that way, right? So he's so attached to making the drug dealer money, right? When you go to the booking agent and he says, yo, based on tickets, real life,
hard tickets,
this is what you're worth, bro.
Today,
right now. To go on a legitimate tour and build a touring career. Niggas don't want to hear that shit.
Like, nah, I'm going to go to the club.
Right.
Get the bag.
And then that song stops playing.
And again, going back to numbers.
New Haven.
Sledge. Going back to numbers, you might have your social popping. Right. And that social might make you think, no, I'm popping.
Yes.
But when the booker tells you, hey, listen, hard tickets, this is the real.
Well, and that's a good question, too, or something for artists to know. It's not as simple as just going on there and interacting every day. What are things to do? Maybe you have the answer to this. Maybe you don't. What are things to do on social networks that get your social
This is
popping?
What I've seen is the people that I've seen to do really well on social media, and this is just my opinion. I don't have the golden key to this, but the people I've seen do really well on social media, they kind of put themselves out as this entity, whatever that is, right? This kind of person, this persona, and they consistently reinforce that persona with, obviously with a lot of visuals, maybe with with some videos, and then with the music, and it's kind of like a very focused thing, because I think kids want to be able to go to Mento's page and know what I'm getting. Like, I'm going here because this girl gives me this aesthetic, or this guy gives me this aesthetic. To me, a lot of times with a lot of artists, they're just kind of like just posting as if they're just regular people, so there's kind of no aesthetic to it.
And there's no cohesiveness.
There's no cohesiveness. I think you have to, like, if you're going to create that aura, like Go say, if you're going to play that role, then play it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really
don't front for me.
You don't front for me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think it's a kind of a focused thing. Like, this is what, Sheck West is about. He's a model. He down ASAP. He a Harlem nigga, and he got this record. Like, I know when I go to Sheck West page, that's what I'm getting.
Is Sheck West on Atlantic?
No, he is on, I want to say Interscope, but don't quote me.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
I want to go back to the like being consistent with your brand, right? You know, joy. You know, thigh tat. We need to see more of that. You got to stay on brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, take this brother's advice.
Get your girl to do both.
Get your girl that could do both.
You got to get that.
First of all, that is a shirt.
Right.
That right there. That's a hard shirt right there.
We need to see more of that. And it's not for me
Talkitecture merch.
personally. I'm talking about for your brand, for where you're going.
Talkitecture merch.
Look at his face.
Sledge, man. Yo, you rocked out with us tonight, brother.
I mean, I hope I know it's kind of rambling and all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I got to be honest with you.
But I really appreciate you having me down here.
For you to have been through all of this, and I think the last thing I would ask you is the final Tribe album.
What about it? The last one that just came out.
The last one.
Obviously I didn't work on that. They were epic, but I was very proud of them.
But when you listen to that album,
it was awesome. I was really proud of them. I was really proud of them. Obviously, like, you know, it was a tough time because Phife had just passed. That was terrible.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's their best album.
Okay, I mean, you know what? Again, I can't necessarily debate you.
Well,
because it was a great record. Like,
no, you can't. I'll kick you out the room.
I see why you say that, and
I'll kick you out the room.
Yeah.
Hey,
in order for us to who love this thing to be able to grow up.
Yeah, and it was a tough time, like I said, because Phife had passed away, and I was terrible, like really, really terrible. Yes. And so for them to be able to put that music out after Phife had passed away, and you know, make that be the last record, like that's talk about going on a high note. Like, it's amazing.
Yep, that's hitting the last shot.
Yeah, it's Jordan.
Internet.
Teddy. Well, Pharrell wrote the rhyme.
But were they on Jive?
No, Rum Shaker was that was Rex and Effects. They was through MCA.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Internets. The podcast is called Talkitecture. Our special guest, honorary record music man.
Thank you, man.
Executive.
Listen.
What's your correct title, Ed Atlantic?
Vice President A&R.
Woo.
Jeff's legend.
Woo.
I just said
King
that
been trying to get me to come down here for years.
Woo.
So I showed love.
El Presidente. El Presidente.
And just to add, DP, you know, one of the things about doing the podcast and what we've established, and I always tell Kit, you know, when I speak and whatnot, relationships are everything. Mm-hmm. Relationships get you access. Mm-hmm. You know, relationships build trust. Mm-hmm. So that, for instance, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not selling nothing. Mm-hmm. Well, not yet, but I'm pretty sure because of our relationship in the room, if I say, "Hey, she's like, I need to take a meeting with you," your expectation is that I'm not going to waste your time.
Of course.
And whatever I pull up, same thing with Haitian Miguel. You know, and I say that to say, I'm telling y'all, make it count. Build the relationships and make them count.
This is my first time meeting Miguel, but I fucks with Miguel. No,
with the nice guy shit.
Yeah, I never met you. No, I never met anybody except
you always got to pull out some nice guy shit.
Yeah, because I'm not an asshole.
I know, but come on, bro. Enough already. We're relationships. We don't need you at the fucking speech, bro. Please.
Well, I tell you what we do need. We do need to let these folks go. They rocked with us.
Thank you.
Y'all rocked with us, and y'all are still gonna keep rocking with us. Talkitecture.
2 hours.
Season 2.
Crazy.
Season 2, and all we've been doing is just hitting straight up home runs. This is food y'all don't even need. Y'all didn't even know y'all needed. Like, y'all didn't even know y'all needed this from this OG, from this veteran who has gone through eras of the game and still standing.
And didn't get a fucking fight that. It's just hardcore like a man. You know what I mean? Like, there was none of that shit, my nigga.
Yo.
He did it like a fucking champ.
Well, hold on for a second. We didn't completely ask him how he got through all these eras. Because I know there's got to be some
selling mad coke.
Yeah, you know this. Come on, listen.
Nigga, we'll get on that.
Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy.
Next episode.
Internets, the podcast is called Talkitecture. All right, find us on your loudspeaker network dial. All right, and make sure that you subscribe, you comment, you rate if you fucks with us. I mean, if you got through this podcast, then you fucks with us. So be a part of it. The Talkitecture podcast is a presentation of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to Combat Jack. Episodes are executive produced by A. King and Dallas Penn. All episodes are engineered superbly by Brother Christopher. 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 By Brother